The reef looks still at first, a slow-motion mosaic of coral heads, sponges, and drifting particles suspended in blue water like dust in a sunlit room. Nothing moves quickly here, because nothing needs to. Energy is precious on the seafloor, and most creatures have learned that survival favors patience over speed. In the middle of this quiet geometry sits a shape that barely qualifies as an animal at all. It resembles a torn sponge, a lump of algae, or a piece of coral that broke loose and forgot to fall. Its edges are frayed, its colors mismatched, its surface textured with bumps and tassels that scatter light and shadow in exactly the way living reef structures do. This is the frogfish, and its greatest weapon is not teeth, venom, or speed, but the absence of motion. The frogfish does not chase. It does not stalk. It does not even aim in the way predators usually do. Instead, it waits, not in the sense of boredom or laziness, but in the way a loaded trap waits. Every muscle in its body is already prepared, already tense beneath skin that looks soft and unthreatening. Its pectoral fins are not fins at all in the usual sense, but jointed limbs that allow it to brace against the reef like a climber gripping rock. This posture locks the frogfish into position, anchoring it against currents and preventing the recoil that would otherwise ruin its strike. The body appears relaxed, but internally it is configured for a single explosive action that will last less than the time it takes light to cross a room. Above its mouth, protruding like a loose filament or a drifting worm, is the lure. This structure, called an elysium, ends in a fleshy tip that mimics the shape and motion of prey animals common to the reef. The frogfish does not wave it frantically. That would betray the illusion. Instead, the lure moves with subtlety, twitching or swaying in ways that match the local rhythm of the water. Sometimes it does not move at all. The effectiveness of the lure depends not on how much it attracts attention, but on how convincingly it belongs. Small fish do not approach it with alarm because nothing about it signals danger. There is no rapid movement, no pursuit, no silhouette of jaws closing in. The reef is full of harmless, drifting shapes, and the lure is simply another one of them. What makes the frogfish terrifying is not the violence of the strike, but the precision of the setup. This predator does not attack from a distance. It positions itself so close to its prey that the kill is no longer an interaction between two animals, but a physical event governed by fluid dynamics. The frogfish inches forward over minutes or even hours, using its limb-like fins to pull itself along the substrate in movements so small they barely register as motion. Each advance is calculated, reducing the distance until prey swims within a zone measured not in body lengths, but in fractions of a mouth width. At this range, reaction time becomes irrelevant. There is no sprint that can save the prey, no reflex fast enough to overcome physics itself. The mouth of the frogfish is not simply large. It is engineered for instantaneous expansion. At rest, it looks almost comically small for such a bulky animal, tucked beneath a face that appears perpetually bored or mildly irritated. But beneath that unassuming exterior lies a skeletal mechanism capable of unfolding faster than most vertebrate muscles can even contract. When the strike begins, the frogfish does not bite down. It opens. The lower jaw drops, the upper jaw flares, and the buccal cavity expands in all directions at once. This expansion creates a sudden drop in pressure inside the mouth, a localized vacuum that pulls surrounding water inward with tremendous force. Water does not compress, and it does not hesitate. When pressure drops, it rushes to fill the space instantly, carrying everything in its path with it. The prey fish is not grabbed or seized. It is engulfed, swept forward by a column of water that accelerates faster than the prey's muscles can respond. In the time it takes for a nerve impulse to travel from eye to muscle, the prey has already crossed the threshold from free-swimming animal to contents of a stomach. There is no chase sequence, no struggle, no dramatic escape attempt. One moment the fish exists in open water, and the next it is gone, erased from the scene as if edited out of reality. The speed of this event is so extreme that even high-speed cameras struggle to capture it cleanly. The entire strike, from the first movement of the jaw to the complete disappearance of the prey, occurs in a time span shorter than a human blink. To an observer, it looks like a glitch. The frogfish appears unchanged, still perched in the same spot, still wearing the same expressionless face. But the prey is no longer there. This is not because the frogfish is fast in the traditional sense. Its body does not surge forward, its fins do not beat rapidly, and it expends remarkably little energy. The violence happens inside the mouth, hidden from view, driven by a sudden reconfiguration of space rather than motion through it. This method of feeding reveals a great deal about the frogfish's evolutionary strategy. Speed is metabolically expensive. Chasing prey requires powerful muscles, constant oxygen delivery, and a nervous system tuned for rapid decision-making. The frogfish avoids all of this. By relying on ambush and suction, it minimizes energy expenditure while maximizing success. This is particularly important on coral reefs, where competition is intense and opportunities can be unpredictable. A predator that fails too often will starve, but a predator that waits and strikes only when success is nearly guaranteed can afford long periods of inactivity. The vacuum strike also allows the frogfish to consume prey that might otherwise be difficult or dangerous to handle. Spiny fish, fast fish, and even prey nearly as large as the frogfish itself can be swallowed whole because the mouth opens wide enough to accommodate them. The jaws do not need to crush or tear. Once inside, backward-pointing teeth and the closing of the mouth prevent escape, and the prey is swallowed with minimal processing. This ability to take large meals means the frogfish can survive extended gaps between hunts, an advantage in environments where food availability fluctuates. From an ecological perspective, the frogfish occupies a role that is both subtle and significant. It is not a dominant predator in terms of biomass or territory, but it exerts selective pressure on the behavior of smaller reef fish. Species that fall victim to suction predators often evolve heightened caution around unfamiliar shapes and textures, as well as improved lateral line sensitivity to detect sudden changes in water movement. Yet the frogfish's camouflage and stillness undermine these defenses, creating an ongoing evolutionary arms race between perception and deception. The horror of the frogfish's feeding strategy lies in its invisibility. There is no warning, no escalation, no visible threat. Predation usually involves signals that prey can learn to recognize: the outline of a hunting shark, the sudden acceleration of a pursuing fish, the shadow of a bird overhead. The frogfish offers none of these. It turns predation into a spatial ambush rather than a temporal one. The danger is not approaching. It is already there, embedded in the environment itself. This strategy also explains why frogfish are rarely seen in motion by divers or researchers. Their lifestyle does not reward activity. Moving exposes them to detection and wastes energy. Remaining still allows camouflage to do its work and keeps the strike mechanics primed. Even their breathing is subtle, with gill movements minimized to avoid disturbing the surrounding water. Everything about their behavior reinforces the same principle: become part of the background and let physics do the killing. When viewed in this light, the frogfish is less a hunter and more an execution device built by evolution. It does not test its prey or adapt mid-attack. The outcome is decided before the strike begins, at the moment the prey crosses an invisible boundary in space. Beyond that line, escape is not just unlikely, it is physically impossible. The prey does not lose because it is slower or weaker. It loses because it entered a zone where water itself becomes the weapon. In the quiet aftermath of a strike, the reef returns to stillness. Particles drift. Coral polyps extend their tentacles. The frogfish remains where it was, now slightly distended, its meal already being processed by a digestive system accustomed to infrequent but substantial intake. To the untrained eye, nothing has changed. Yet the ecosystem has shifted, if only by a single missing fish. This is how the frogfish shapes its world, not through dominance or pursuit, but through sudden absence. In a habitat defined by motion and color, it perfects the art of erasure, turning the simple act of opening its mouth into one of the most efficient killing mechanisms in the ocean. The seafloor at depth does not resemble the bright, restless reef. It is a landscape built from patience and pressure, a broad plain of sediment broken by low ridges, scattered stones, and the occasional skeletal remains of organisms that drifted down from far above. Light here is weak or absent entirely. filtered out by water long before it can reach the bottom. What remains is a muted world shaped by gravity and silence, where movement is slow and every calorie matters. In this environment, survival favors creatures that can erase themselves from perception, blending so completely into the substrate that even nearby life passes without recognition. Somewhere within this stillness lies the monkfish, not swimming, not prowling, but resting as though it were simply another fold in the seabed itself. The monkfish does not hide by squeezing into crevices or burying itself completely. Instead, it lies exposed, its body flattened and spread against the sediment like a discarded cloak. Its skin mimics the color and texture of mud, sand, and broken shell, often mottled with irregular patches that dissolve its outline when seen from above. Fringes of skin extend from its head and flanks, soft lobes that resemble torn seaweed, or bits of detritus caught in a current. These structures disrupt any clean silhouette, preventing prey from identifying the monkfish as a single, solid form. In the deep sea, recognition is everything. A predator is dangerous only if it can be perceived as one. The monkfish ensures that it never is. Its eyes sit high on the head, angled upward, allowing it to watch the water column above, while the rest of its body remains pressed into the ground. This vantage point is crucial. Many deep-sea animals feed by drifting or hovering just above the seabed, scanning for edible particles or small prey. From their perspective, the bottom is a backdrop, not a source of danger. The monkfish exploits this bias perfectly. It becomes part of the scenery, a featureless patch of ground beneath a slowly moving world. What breaks this illusion is the lure. Extending from the monkfish's head is a modified dorsal spine tipped with a fleshy bulb. In shallow water relatives, this lure may simply wiggle in ambient light. But in deeper species, it often produces its own glow. This bioluminescence is not bright or constant. It pulses softly, flickers, or sways in patterns that resemble the movements of small living organisms. In the darkness, such signals are powerful attractants. Many deep-sea creatures rely on points of light to locate food, mates, or shelter. The monkfish does not need to chase this instinct, it only needs to imitate it. The genius of the monkfish's strategy lies in how completely it inverts the predator-prey relationship. It does not seek prey, it presents itself as prey. The lure is positioned just far enough from the mouth to draw attention away from the danger beneath it. To a passing fish or crustacean, the glowing tip represents opportunity in an otherwise sparse environment. Calories are rare at depth, and hesitation can mean starvation. As the prey approaches, its focus narrows. The seabed fades into irrelevance. The monkfish's body remains unseen because the prey is no longer looking for threats, it is looking for food. This moment when the prey commits to the approach is when the trap becomes unavoidable. The monkfish does not need to time a long pursuit or calculate an interception, it only waits for distance to collapse. When the prey drifts within reach, the monkfish opens its mouth and the environment itself does the rest. The opening of a monkfish's mouth is not a gradual action, it is an instantaneous transformation. The jaws swing apart with explosive speed, and the buccal cavity expands outward like a collapsing tunnel in reverse. This expansion creates a sudden drop in pressure, pulling water from the surrounding area directly into the mouth. The force is not localized to the immediate opening. It extends outward, forming a cone of suction that captures anything within range. At close distance, this effect is overwhelming. The prey is not bitten or grabbed. It is pulled bodily forward, carried by a surge of water that accelerates faster than muscles can counteract. Escape at this stage is impossible because the prey is no longer acting independently. Its body is entrained in a moving mass of water, and water obeys physics, not instinct. Even if the prey senses danger at the final instant, there is no solid surface to push against, no traction to exploit. The current created by the monkfish's expanding mouth strips away control, drawing the prey inward regardless of its efforts. In less time than a heartbeat, the prey crosses the threshold into the oral cavity, where backward-facing teeth and the sudden closure of the jaws prevent any retreat. The speed of this action is deceptive, because the monkfish itself barely appears to move. There is no dramatic lunge or sweeping motion. The body remains anchored to the seabed, its mass stabilizing the strike and preventing recoil. This anchoring is essential. Suction feeding at this scale generates immense forces, and without a stable base, the predator would simply pull itself forward rather than pulling prey in. By spreading its body and bracing against the sediment, the monkfish ensures that all the energy of the strike is directed outward, not wasted on self-motion. Once the prey is inside, the monkfish does not chew. It does not need to. Like many ambush predators, it swallows prey whole, relying on a highly distensible stomach to accommodate meals that can be nearly as large as its own body. This capacity reflects the unpredictability of feeding opportunities in the deep sea. When food arrives, it must be consumed completely, because the next chance may not come for days or weeks. The monkfish's metabolism is adapted to this feast and famine rhythm, capable of slowing dramatically during long periods of inactivity and ramping up digestion only when necessary. From the prey's perspective, the most terrifying aspect of this interaction is that the predator is never seen. There is no chase, no shadow growing larger, no indication that danger is present. The monkfish does not announce itself through motion or noise. Even its lure is not a warning sign, but an invitation. The moment of realization, if it occurs at all, comes too late to matter. The prey is already inside the system, already transitioning from organism to energy. This invisibility has broader ecological consequences. In deep-sea environments, where encounters are rare and energy budgets are tight, predation strategies that minimize wasted effort have a disproportionate impact. The monkfish removes prey with near-perfect efficiency, shaping the behavior of species that share its habitat. Over evolutionary time, prey species may develop increased caution around isolated light sources or unfamiliar movements near the seabed. Yet these adaptations are always constrained by the need to feed. In a world where food is scarce, avoiding every potential risk is not an option. The monkfish thrives in this narrow margin between hunger and fear. The camouflage that enables this strategy is not static. Monkfish skin can adjust subtly over time, altering pigmentation to better match local conditions. Sediment color varies across the seafloor, and individuals that fail to blend effectively are more likely to be detected and avoided. Natural selection favors those whose appearance dissolves seamlessly into their surroundings. This process turns the seabed itself into a selective force, shaping the predator's body as much as its behavior. In this sense, the monkfish is not merely hiding on the seafloor, it is an extension of it. The boundary between animal and environment becomes blurred, and predation occurs not as an event, but as a property of the landscape. The seabed is no longer neutral ground, it is a mouth waiting to open. What makes this strategy so effective is its reliance on inevitability rather than pursuit. The monkfish does not compete with faster predators in open water. It does not rely on superior endurance or complex social hunting. It waits, confident that physics will resolve the encounter in its favor. Once prey enters the capture zone, the outcome is determined by pressure gradients and fluid flow, not by reflexes or intelligence. This approach reflects a broader pattern in deep-sea evolution, where many predators favor ambush and deception over speed. Energy conservation is paramount in an environment where sunlight does not drive productivity, and food arrives sporadically from above. The monkfish represents one of the most extreme expressions of this philosophy, reducing predation to a single, irreversible transition from outside to inside. After the strike, the scene resets almost immediately. Sediment settles, the water column resumes its slow drift. The monkfish closes its mouth and becomes still once more, indistinguishable from the ground it rests upon. To an observer passing moments later, there is no sign that anything has happened, yet the ecosystem has changed. A mobile organism has been removed, its energy transferred into a predator that will now wait, motionless, until the cycle repeats. In the deep sea, where encounters are rare and survival hinges on efficiency, the monkfish has perfected a method of hunting that leaves no trace and offers no warning. The predator is not seen because it never needs to be. By the time its presence becomes apparent, the prey is already gone, and the seabed has reclaimed its silence. At the edge of the reef, where open blue water narrows into shadowed corridors of coral and stone, movement changes character. Fish no longer scatter freely in all directions. Paths compress. Lines of travel converge. Every entrance becomes a funnel, every gap a decision point. This is not a place for speed, but for judgment, and judgment here is often wrong. The reef is not an open battlefield. It is architecture. And within that architecture, groupers take their positions like permanent fixtures, heavy-bodied silhouettes stationed at thresholds where motion must pass. They do not patrol. They do not rush. They wait, occupying space so completely that the space itself becomes hostile. A grouper hovering near a reef entrance appears almost passive. Its fins move slowly, just enough to counter buoyancy and current, maintaining a fixed position in the water column. The body is massive compared to the smaller reef fish that pass nearby, but mass here is not used for pursuit. It is used for authority. The grouper's presence alters traffic patterns before any attack occurs. Smaller fish hesitate, skirt the edges of corridors, or choose longer routes around the reef rather than pass directly in front of it. This hesitation is not learned fear alone. It is a response to shape, scale, and stillness. In nature, predators that move constantly are often predictable. Predators that do not move are harder to interpret, and interpretation costs time. The grouper's anatomy reflects this strategy perfectly. Its head is broad and blunt, housing a mouth that seems oversized even for such a large fish. The jaws are thick, reinforced by powerful musculature designed not for biting chunks from prey, but for rapid expansion. The mouth is not a tool for grappling. It is a mechanism for deletion. When closed, it gives away nothing. When opened, it transforms the surrounding water into a weapon. Reef entrances function like hallways in a building. Water flow accelerates slightly as it passes through gaps and channels, guiding plankton, scent trails, and small fish along predictable routes. These corridors are efficient, and efficiency is irresistible in a crowded ecosystem where energy conservation determines survival. Prey animals use them instinctively, slipping between coral heads to avoid exposure in open water. What they do not perceive is that these same corridors eliminate escape options. Once inside, lateral movement is restricted. Vertical movement may be blocked by overhangs. Forward motion becomes commitment. Groupers exploit this geometry with unsettling precision. They position themselves just outside or just inside these entrances, angled so that their mouths face the direction of traffic. Their eyes track movement continuously, but without the exaggerated head turns that might signal intent. The grouper does not lock onto prey from afar. It allows prey to approach, crossing an invisible boundary measured not in meters, but in fractions of body length. This boundary is the point of no return, though nothing in the environment marks it as such. The strike itself is not dramatic in the way ambushes are often portrayed. There is no burst of speed, no sudden chase. The grouper does not accelerate forward. Instead, it opens its mouth, and the water between predator and prey collapses inward. The expansion of the buccal cavity happens in a fraction of a second, increasing volume so rapidly that pressure drops instantaneously. Water rushes in to equalize this imbalance, carrying the prey with it as effortlessly as dust drawn into a vacuum. At close range, this suction is absolute. The prey fish is not pushed, grabbed, or bitten. It is removed. The sensation, if it could be registered at all, would not be impact but loss of position, as the water supporting the body suddenly moves elsewhere. Muscles fire too late to matter. Fins find nothing to push against. The prey crosses the threshold into the mouth before neural signals can complete their circuit. Escape is not thwarted by strength, but by physics. The effectiveness of this strategy depends entirely on restraint. A grouper that lunges prematurely risks alerting prey and wasting energy. A grouper that waits allows inevitability to do the work. This patience is not passive. Internally, the fish is prepared, muscles primed, skeletal elements aligned for maximal expansion. Externally, it presents calm. This contrast is what makes the ambush so successful. Prey animals are adept at detecting motion, acceleration, and directional intent. They are far less equipped to detect absence of motion paired with latent force. Once prey is inside the mouth, backward-facing teeth and rapid jaw closure prevent escape. The grouper does not need to chew. Like many suction-feeding predators, it swallows prey whole. relying on a flexible digestive tract capable of handling large, irregular meals. This ability allows groupers to capitalize on infrequent opportunities, consuming prey that may represent a significant portion of their daily energy intake. After feeding, digestion becomes the primary activity, and the grouper may remain nearly motionless for extended periods, its metabolism shifting to process the intake efficiently. This hunting style places groupers firmly within a broader category of predators that do not chase. In environments where terrain dictates movement, pursuit is often unnecessary and inefficient. Reefs, mangroves, and rocky bottoms create natural bottlenecks that favor ambush over endurance. Groupers have evolved to dominate these bottlenecks, turning spatial control into a predatory advantage. They do not need to be faster than prey. They only need to be unavoidable. The ecological impact of this strategy extends beyond individual kills. By controlling access points within the reef, groupers influence how smaller fish distribute themselves, where they feed, and how they move between habitats. This can reduce grazing pressure in certain areas, alter competition among prey species, and even affect coral health indirectly. The grouper is not merely a consumer. It is a regulator of movement, shaping the flow of life through the reef's architecture. There is also an element of learned avoidance at play. Fish that survive encounters with groupers may alter their routes permanently, favoring less efficient paths that reduce risk. Over time, this behavior can lead to the establishment of safer corridors and more dangerous ones, zones of passage and zones of deletion. The reef becomes a map of probabilities, with groupers occupying the most lethal intersections. What makes the grouper particularly effective is how unremarkable it appears during all of this. Its coloration often blends seamlessly with the reef, patterned with mottled spots and gradients that break up its outline against coral and rock. Its movements are slow, economical, almost indifferent. There is no visible escalation before the strike. From the prey's perspective, the environment looks stable right up until it collapses. This lack of warning is central to the grouper's success. Many predators rely on surprise generated by speed or stealthy approach. The grouper relies on assumption. Prey assume that a stationary object is safe, that danger announces itself through motion. The grouper punishes that assumption ruthlessly. It turns the very act of entering shelter into a lethal mistake. From a physiological standpoint, suction feeding at this scale requires precise coordination. The timing of jaw opening, hyoid depression, and opercular expansion must be exact to maximize pressure differential. Too slow, and the prey escapes. Too fast without proper positioning, and the strike loses efficiency. Groupers demonstrate remarkable consistency in this coordination, evidence of a feeding system refined over evolutionary time to operate within narrow margins of error. After the strike, the reef resumes its rhythm almost immediately. Other fish continue moving through adjacent corridors. Currents carry particles along familiar paths. The grouper returns to stillness, its role as gatekeeper unchanged. The absence left by the consumed prey is invisible, but it matters. Energy has been transferred upward in the food web, and space has been cleared for others to move, feed, or make the same fatal decision. In this way, groupers exemplify a form of predation that is less about pursuit and more about inevitability. They do not hunt across the reef. They let the reef hunt for them. By positioning themselves at critical junctions, they transform ordinary movement into risk and routine travel into final passage. Once prey enters the hallway, the outcome is already sealed. The door does not slam shut. It simply opens, and what was there moments before is gone. The open water beyond the reef has none of the sheltering geometry of coral corridors or seabed folds. There are no walls to pin prey against, no bottlenecks to exploit, no shadows deep enough to disappear into for long. Everything here is exposed, suspended in a three-dimensional void where movement is visible from every angle, and mistakes travel far. In this space, patience alone is not enough. Predators that survive here must solve a different problem: how to end an encounter before it truly begins. This is the domain of the barracuda, a fish shaped not for wrestling or endurance, but for a single decisive event that collapses distance faster than perception can process it. A barracuda in open water does not announce itself through constant motion. Despite its reputation for aggression, most of its time is spent hovering, almost indifferent, body held rigid and horizontal, tail barely moving. This stillness is deceptive. The barracuda's elongated form is a study in hydrodynamic efficiency, a narrow cylinder tapering smoothly toward a powerful caudal fin designed to convert stored muscle tension into instant forward thrust. The musculature along its flanks is dense and organized for explosive contraction rather than sustained swimming. This is not a marathon runner's body. It is a spring under load. The head completes the design. The jawline is long and pointed, extending the profile forward like the tip of a spear. When the mouth opens, it reveals teeth that do not curve backward for gripping or grinding. They are straight, laterally compressed blades, arranged to overlap slightly like shears. These teeth are not meant to hold prey in place. They are meant to cut through it. The barracuda does not chew because it does not need to. Damage is inflicted at the moment of contact, not afterward. In open water, ambush requires a different kind of concealment. The barracuda cannot hide behind rocks or blend into the sea floor. Instead, it exploits visual ambiguity and distance compression. Its silvery body reflects ambient light, breaking up its outline against the brightness of the water column. From certain angles, especially head-on, its profile nearly vanishes, reduced to a thin line that offers little visual information. Prey animals scanning their surroundings may register movement, but movement alone is not enough to trigger escape. Threat assessment requires shape, direction, and speed, and the barracuda withholds all three until the final instant. Positioning is critical. Barracudas often orient themselves slightly below or off to the side of prey schools, maintaining a distance that appears non-threatening. They do not shadow prey closely, which would provoke defensive formations. Instead, they linger just far enough away to remain ambiguous. The goal is not to intimidate, but to be ignored. In this phase, the barracuda is not hunting actively. It is waiting for geometry to align, for a moment when prey drifts into a zone where acceleration can erase reaction time. That moment is brief, and when it arrives, the transformation is violent. The barracuda does not ramp up speed gradually. There is no warning surge, no visible build-up. The tail snaps, the body flexes, and stored energy releases all at once. Acceleration is extreme, pushing the barracuda forward in a straight line with minimal lateral movement. This is not a pursuit curve. It is a ballistic trajectory. The fish becomes a projectile, and the distance between predator and prey collapses faster than sensory systems can update their interpretation of reality. For the prey, the encounter is not experienced as a chase. There is no time for evasion, no exchange of maneuvers. One moment the water is empty, and the next it is filled with impact. The barracuda's jaws do not clamp down in a holding bite. They slice through flesh with momentum, carrying the body past the point of contact. Often, the barracuda does not even stop after the strike. It passes through, turns, and returns to consume what remains. This behavior is not wasteful. It is strategic. Stopping at the point of impact would dissipate energy and increase the risk of injury. Passing through preserves momentum and allows reassessment. The brutality of this method lies in its asymmetry. The prey does not lose because it is weaker in a prolonged struggle. It loses because it never enters one. The barracuda's success depends on ending the interaction at the moment of first contact. This is why its teeth are designed for slicing rather than gripping. A clean cut disables prey immediately, preventing coordinated escape responses even if the prey survives the initial strike for a fraction of time. This strategy reflects a broader principle of open water predation. Speed replaces stealth, and precision replaces persistence. In environments without cover, prolonged chases favor prey that can turn sharply, change depth rapidly, or exhaust a predator. Barracudas avoid this entirely by front-loading the encounter with overwhelming force. Energy expenditure is concentrated into a single burst, followed by either success or disengagement. From a metabolic standpoint, this is efficient. Long pursuits are costly and uncertain. Short, decisive strikes offer a higher return on investment. Sensory adaptations support this approach. Barracudas possess keen vision adapted for detecting contrast and movement at distance. Their eyes are positioned to provide forward-focused depth perception, critical for timing the strike. They rely less on lateral line detection during the final approach because the speed of the attack outpaces the usefulness of close-range sensory feedback. The decision to strike is made before the body moves, based on visual calculations of distance, angle, and expected prey trajectory. Once the strike begins, there is no adjustment. This is a commitment predator. If the barracuda miscalculates, it aborts the attempt and resets, rather than attempting to salvage the encounter through pursuit. This selectivity is essential. A failed strike costs energy and reveals presence, increasing the likelihood that prey will alter behavior. Barracudas therefore strike only when the probability of success is high, reinforcing the perception that attacks are sudden and inexplicable rather than frequent. Ecologically, barracudas occupy a role that keeps open water prey populations in constant tension. Their presence discourages lingering and promotes movement, preventing schools from becoming static targets for other predators. This constant pressure shapes schooling behavior, encouraging tight formations and rapid directional changes that reduce individual risk. In this way, the barracuda influences not just who survives, but how entire groups behave. There is a certain irony in how simple the barracuda's strategy appears compared to the elaborate ambushes of reef-bound predators. No camouflage beyond reflectivity, no lures, no architectural traps, just speed and blades. Yet this simplicity is deceptive. It represents a high-risk, high-reward evolutionary gamble that works only because every component of the animal's biology is tuned toward the same outcome. Body shape, muscle distribution, tooth structure, sensory processing, and behavior all converge on the same moment: the first strike. After an attack, the water tells the story briefly. Scales drift. Particles swirl where the body passed. Then the scene resets. The barracuda slows, resumes its hovering posture, and becomes still once more. To an outside observer, it appears calm again, almost detached. But nothing about it has relaxed. The muscles are already reloading. The eyes are already scanning. The missile has returned to its launcher. For prey species, this creates a world where danger is not announced by proximity, but by timing. Safety is not determined by distance alone, because distance can be erased in an instant. The only reliable defense is awareness and unpredictability, traits that evolution continually refines under pressure from predators like the barracuda. Even then, survival is never guaranteed. Reaction time has limits, and the barracuda exists to exploit them. In the end, the barracuda embodies a form of predation that leaves no room for narrative struggle. There is no drawn-out contest, no visible escalation, no chance to recover. The encounter is reduced to a single data point: impact or absence. Speed delivers the predator, blades deliver the outcome, and the open water swallows the evidence. This is not hunting as pursuit. It is hunting as collision, and for those caught in its path, the difference is final. The open ocean is not empty, no matter how it appears from above. It is a vast, moving system layered with currents, temperature gradients, and invisible boundaries that shape where life can exist and how it must behave to survive. In this realm, stillness is a liability. Food does not linger, shelter does not wait, and predators that pause too long fall behind an environment that never does. Among the animals built for this perpetual motion, none embody it more completely than tuna. They are not ambush predators, and they do not rely on surprise in the traditional sense. Their terror lies elsewhere. It lies in the fact that they are always already moving, always already accelerating, always operating at a pace that turns endurance itself into a weapon. A tuna does not hover. It does not rest on the water column or drift with the current. From the moment it begins independent life, it swims, and it rarely stops. Its body, is shaped like a sealed projectile, thick through the core, and tapering cleanly toward a narrow tail base that minimizes drag. The skin is smooth and rigid, reinforced with connective tissue that reduces turbulence as water flows over it. Even the fins are engineered for speed. When cruising, they retract into grooves, streamlining the body into a near-perfect hydrodynamic form. Nothing protrudes that does not need to. Nothing wastes energy. Inside, the engineering becomes even more remarkable. Tuna are among the few fishes capable of regional endothermy, the ability to maintain parts of their body at temperatures significantly higher than the surrounding water. This is not full warm-bloodedness, but it is close enough to change the rules of the open ocean. Specialized vascular structures known as countercurrent heat exchangers trap metabolic heat produced by swimming muscles, preventing it from being lost through the gills. As a result, the muscles that power the tail operate at temperatures that allow faster contraction and greater force. Reaction times shorten. Power output increases. Endurance extends far beyond what cold-blooded physiology alone would allow. This internal heat is not a luxury. It is a necessity for a predator that never truly disengages. Tuna live in motion because motion keeps their systems optimized. Oxygen delivery, muscle performance, and sensory processing all benefit from constant flow. Slowing down is not neutral for a tuna. It is costly. The entire body is tuned for cruising efficiency, not idle hovering. As a result, the tuna does not wait for prey to come close. It moves through prey fields relentlessly, applying pressure over time rather than relying on a single moment of surprise. When a tuna encounters a school of smaller fish, the interaction does not begin with a strike. It begins with disruption. Tuna approach at speed, not to immediately kill, but to fracture cohesion. Schooling prey rely on synchronized movement to confuse predators and reduce individual risk. A tuna does not need to pick a target right away. By charging through the formation, it creates chaos, forcing individuals to accelerate, turn sharply, and separate from the group. Each of these actions consumes energy, and energy is finite. This is where endurance becomes aggression. The tuna does not slow as the prey tires. Its muscles are built for sustained output, fueled by a highly efficient aerobic metabolism that allows long periods of high-speed swimming without fatigue. Prey species, even those adapted for quick bursts, cannot maintain this pace indefinitely. As the chase continues, small inefficiencies accumulate. Turns become wider. Acceleration lags. Reaction time lengthens. The tuna does not need to outthink its prey. It only needs to outlast it. When commitment finally occurs, the strike is devastating precisely because it emerges from motion rather than breaking it. The tuna does not shift gears dramatically. It increases speed slightly, aligns its body, and closes distance like a launched torpedo. There is no dramatic change in posture to warn the prey. The predator is already moving fast, already pointed forward, already generating momentum. The prey does not perceive a sudden attack so much as an unstoppable continuation of pressure that suddenly becomes contact. The mouth of a tuna is not designed for suction or grappling. It is firm and compact, lined with small, sharp teeth that function primarily to secure and disable prey during high-speed encounters. The jaws snap shut at impact, and the force of collision itself contributes to the kill. This is not a delicate interaction. At speed, mass multiplied by velocity becomes decisive. The prey does not engage in a fight because the encounter is not framed as one. It is a conclusion reached through exhaustion and physics. The sensory world of a tuna supports this strategy. Their vision is acute, adapted for tracking fast-moving targets in bright, open water. Large eyes positioned laterally provide a wide field of view, allowing tuna to monitor prey movement even during high-speed pursuit. The lateral line system detects pressure changes and water displacement, helping maintain awareness of prey position when visual cues blur under acceleration. These systems do not operate in isolation. They are integrated into a nervous system optimized for processing rapid streams of information without delay. This integration allows tuna to make continuous micro-adjustments during pursuit, refining their trajectory without losing speed. Unlike ambush predators that rely on a single calculated strike, tuna operate in feedback loops, constantly updating their movement based on prey behavior. This adaptability is critical in open water, where three-dimensional movement and changing light conditions complicate targeting. Yet even here, the tuna's greatest advantage is not precision alone. It is persistence. Ecologically, tuna occupy a role as mobile regulators of midwater ecosystems. Their constant movement links distant regions of the ocean, transporting energy across vast scales. They feed in one area, excrete in another, and migrate across thermal boundaries that many species cannot cross efficiently. This mobility connects food webs, redistributing nutrients and influencing prey populations over wide geographic ranges. Tuna are not local enforcers. They are ocean-wide forces. Migration itself becomes an extension of predation. Tuna follow temperature gradients and productivity zones, tracking prey movements across seasons. Their heat-retaining physiology allows them to exploit cooler waters temporarily, accessing prey that slower, fully ectothermic predators cannot pursue as effectively. This thermal flexibility expands the tuna's hunting envelope, turning environmental variability into opportunity rather than limitation. For prey species, this creates a relentless pressure that shapes behavior at population scales. Schooling patterns tighten. Migration timing shifts. Growth rates favor individuals that can mature quickly before becoming targets. The tuna's influence is felt not just through direct predation, but through the constant need to evade a predator that does not wait for darkness, shelter, or mistakes. It manufactures mistakes by forcing prey to operate at the edge of their physiological limits. There is a certain inevitability to a tuna hunt that distinguishes it from other forms of marine predation. Ambush predators offer a chance, however slim, of avoidance through vigilance. Burst predators allow escape through endurance or terrain. Tuna remove these options systematically. They do not offer a single moment to evade. They offer a test, and they apply it until something fails. After a successful strike, the tuna does not stop to celebrate or rest. It continues moving, integrating the consumed energy into the same engine that delivered the kill. Digestion occurs on the move, supported by a circulatory system adapted to distribute oxygen and nutrients efficiently, even during sustained activity. The predator does not disengage from its environment because disengagement is not part of its design. In this way, tuna represent a form of predation that feels almost mechanical in its consistency. There is no visible rage, no dramatic flourish, only motion, maintained at a level that turns time into an ally. The prey does not lose because it chose the wrong moment. It loses because it cannot maintain the pace indefinitely, and the tuna can. The terror of the tuna is not the instant of impact, though that instant is final. It is the knowledge, embedded in prey behavior through generations of selection, that once the chase begins, there is no endpoint except exhaustion. Speed may delay it. Coordination may complicate it. But as long as the tuna keeps moving, the outcome trends toward inevitability. In the open ocean, where nothing holds still and everything is exposed, the tuna thrives by embodying the environment itself. Constant, directional, and unforgiving, it turns endurance into dominance and motion into fate. It does not need to surprise its prey. It simply needs to keep going. The midwater zone is often described as empty, but this emptiness is deceptive. It is a volume without walls, without floor or ceiling, where life exists suspended in constant motion, buoyed by water rather than supported by structure. Here, there is nowhere to hide in the conventional sense. No crevices, no reef entrances, no sediment to melt into. Survival depends on awareness, spacing, and reaction time. In this open three-dimensional space, predators must solve a difficult problem: how to seize prey without the advantage of terrain. Squid answer this problem not with pursuit or brute force, but with reach. They do not close distance by moving their bodies forward. They close it by throwing their weapons outward, turning empty water into a sudden, inescapable trap. At rest, a squid appears streamlined and restrained, its elongated body tapering smoothly toward fins that ripple gently to maintain position. The arms hang together in a loose bundle beneath the head, and the two longer feeding tentacles are barely noticeable, coiled and retracted among them. This posture is misleading. The apparent neatness of the squid conceals a weapon system designed for speed measured not in swimming velocity, but in extension. The squid does not need to approach prey closely. It only needs to be close enough for physics to take over. The feeding tentacles are specialized structures unlike anything else in the marine environment. Unlike the 8 shorter arms, which are muscular along their entire length, the tentacles are built for rapid projection. Most of their length is relatively thin and elastic, storing potential energy like a compressed spring. At the distal end sits the club, a widened tip equipped with rows of suckers, often reinforced with sharp chitinous rings or hooks. These clubs are the contact points, the interface between predator and prey, and they are delivered with astonishing speed. When the strike begins, it is not gradual. The squid does not lunge its body forward or telegraph its intent through large movements. Instead, muscles at the base of the tentacles contract explosively, sending a wave of force down their length. The tentacles uncoil and shoot forward, accelerating faster than the prey's nervous system can respond. The distance between predator and prey collapses not because the squid moves, but because its reach suddenly expands. In less time than a blink, the clubs make contact. The sensation for the prey is not impact in the traditional sense. It is capture. The suckers adhere instantly, forming a seal against skin or scales. In species equipped with hooks, these structures embed themselves, anchoring the prey even if it struggles violently. This attachment is not tentative. It is decisive. Once the tentacles connect, the prey's freedom of movement ends immediately. The squid does not need to wrestle for control. It has already taken it. What follows is not a prolonged struggle, but a rapid conversion of distance into enclosure. The tentacles retract just as quickly as they extended, hauling the prey toward the squid's waiting arms. These 8 arms are shorter, thicker, and far more muscular, lined with additional suckers that spread across the prey's body. As they wrap around, they create a cage of flesh, locking fins, pinning limbs, and preventing any coordinated escape motion. The prey is now surrounded, suspended in open water, yet unable to move meaningfully in any direction. This is where the experience becomes claustrophobic, even though there are no walls. The squid's arms do not simply hold. They press, adjust, and reposition continuously, responding to every twitch of resistance. Each sucker operates independently, maintaining grip even if others momentarily lose contact. The arms function as a distributed control system, ensuring that no single movement can free the prey. Escape is not prevented by strength alone, but by redundancy. Too many points of contact must fail at once for release to occur. The speed of this sequence is crucial. Squid prey often include fast, reactive animals such as fish and crustaceans, species that rely on sudden bursts of acceleration to evade predators. By disabling movement before the prey can initiate such a response, the squid bypasses these defenses entirely. There is no chase. There is no pursuit arc. There is only extension, attachment, and retrieval. The entire process unfolds so quickly that to an outside observer, it can appear as though the prey simply vanishes into the squid's grasp. Once the prey is secured against the body, the squid deploys its final tool. At the center of the arms lies the beak, a rigid parrot-like structure composed of chitin, capable of slicing through flesh and shell alike. The beak is small relative to the squid's overall size, but it is immensely strong. Unlike the slicing teeth of a barracuda or the suction of a grouper, the beak is a processing tool. It does not rely on speed. It relies on precision. The prey, immobilized and held at exactly the correct orientation by the arms, is brought into contact with the beak. A single bite can sever the spinal cord of a fish or crack the exoskeleton of a crustacean. This bite is not dramatic, but it is final. Once neural control is disrupted, the prey ceases meaningful resistance. Only then does the squid relax its grip slightly, transitioning from capture to consumption. This sequence reveals a key aspect of squid predation. control precedes killing. Many predators rely on overwhelming force or damage to end an encounter quickly. Squid rely on restraint. They remove options before delivering the fatal action. This strategy is particularly effective in mid-water environments, where uncontrolled movement could attract competitors or lead to prey loss. By securing prey completely before killing it, squid minimize risk and maximize efficiency. The evolutionary pressures shaping this system are clear. In open water, missed strikes are costly. Energy expended on failed attempts cannot be easily recovered, and repeated failures increase exposure to larger predators. Squid tentacle projection offers a solution by extending the effective strike zone without requiring the body to move into danger. The squid remains relatively stationary, conserving energy and maintaining situational awareness, while its weapons do the work at a distance. The sensory coordination required for this behavior is sophisticated. Squid possess large, highly developed eyes, capable of detecting contrast and movement with remarkable acuity. Their nervous systems are fast, with giant axons that transmit signals rapidly to muscles controlling the tentacles. This allows precise timing and targeting, ensuring that extension occurs only when prey is optimally positioned. The strike is not reflexive. It is calculated. There is also an element of adaptability in squid hunting that distinguishes it from more rigid predatory strategies. Squid can adjust the angle, speed, and force of tentacle extension based on prey size and behavior. Smaller prey may be captured with minimal extension and gentle retrieval, while larger or more active prey trigger more forceful strikes and tighter arm wrapping. This flexibility allows squid to exploit a wide range of food sources, increasing their resilience in fluctuating environments. Ecologically, squid occupy a critical position as both predators and prey. Their efficient hunting supports rapid growth and high metabolic demands, which in turn make them important food sources for larger animals such as whales, sharks, and seabirds. The same speed and responsiveness that make them formidable hunters also make them vulnerable targets when caught off guard. This dual role creates a dynamic balance, with squid acting as conduits of energy between trophic levels. For the prey, the danger posed by squid is uniquely unsettling. There is no warning chase, no visible buildup of threat. The water feels open, spacious, free. Then suddenly it is not. Limbs are pinned, orientation is lost, and the surrounding space collapses inward as arms tighten. The predator is not a distant shape or a charging body. It is a presence that appears around you, enclosing rather than approaching. In this way, squid redefine what an ambush can be. They do not hide behind objects or rely on camouflage alone. They hide their weapons, keeping them folded and invisible until the moment they are launched. The ambush occurs not in space, but in time, compressing the interval between detection and capture to almost nothing. When the feeding event ends, the squid releases what remains and resumes its quiet suspension in the water column. The arms regroup, the tentacles retract fully, and the animal once again appears streamlined and controlled, as though nothing has happened. The surrounding water returns to stillness, and any trace of the encounter dissipates quickly. Yet the balance has shifted. Another unit of energy has been transferred, another life removed, another demonstration completed of how lethal reach can be in a world without walls. The squid's method is not loud or visibly violent. It does not rely on speed through space or endurance over time. It relies on immediacy. The grab happens before thought, before reaction, before fear can even register. In the open ocean, where awareness is often the only defense, the squid's greatest advantage is that it does not give its prey time to be aware at all. The shallow coastal shelf is a place of visual overload. Sunlight fractures through the surface and scatters across sand ripples, seagrass blades, and broken shell, producing a constantly shifting mosaic of color and contrast. Shadows slide and dissolve. Reflections flicker and vanish. In this environment, vision is both the primary sense and an unreliable one, overwhelmed by motion that does not always signal meaning. Most predators here solve this problem by becoming invisible, blending into the background and waiting for prey to drift too close. Cuttlefish do something far more unsettling. They do not merely disappear into the environment, they hijack it. A cuttlefish resting above the seabed appears calm, almost contemplative. Its body floats with subtle fin undulations, maintaining position without obvious effort. The arms are loosely gathered beneath the head, and the two feeding tentacles remain hidden among them, coiled and ready. At first glance, the animal seems passive, even vulnerable. Its outline is soft, its posture unthreatening. But this impression is a trap, because the cuttlefish is not preparing to hide. It is preparing to perform. The surface of a cuttlefish is not skin in the conventional sense. It is a dynamic display system composed of multiple layers of specialized cells that can change color, brightness, and texture almost instantly. Chromatophores, tiny pigment sacs, controlled directly by muscles, expand and contract to reveal or conceal color. Beneath them lie iridophores and leucophores, reflective cells that manipulate light through structural interference rather than pigment. Together, these layers allow the cuttlefish to generate patterns that are not simply camouflage, but signals, illusions, and disruptions of perception. When prey enters the cuttlefish's awareness, the animal does not rush. It observes. Its large, highly developed eyes track movement with remarkable precision, capable of detecting subtle changes in contrast and polarization that many fish cannot perceive. The cuttlefish assesses distance, orientation, and trajectory, all while maintaining the appearance of neutrality. There is no sudden movement to betray intent. Instead, the skin begins to change. The first patterns are often subtle. Bands of light and dark ripple across the body, moving in directions that do not correspond to the animal's motion. These waves can travel forward, backward, or laterally, creating the illusion that the cuttlefish is shifting position even when it is not. For prey, this introduces uncertainty. Visual systems evolved to track solid objects moving through space struggle to interpret surfaces that move independently of the body beneath them. Attention is drawn to the pattern rather than the predator. As the prey comes closer, the display intensifies. High contrast flashes appear, alternating light and dark in rapid succession. These are not random. They are tuned to exploit the temporal limits of prey vision. Many small fish rely on rapid visual sampling to detect predators, but their processing speed has boundaries. When confronted with stimuli that change faster than those boundaries allow, the result is not clarity, but confusion. The prey's visual field becomes noisy, overloaded with information that cannot be resolved into a coherent threat. This is the hypnosis, though it has nothing to do with mysticism and everything to do with neurology. The cuttlefish is not putting the prey into a trance. It is saturating its sensory system, delaying the moment when danger is recognized as such. In that delay, measured in fractions of a second, the outcome is decided. Crucially, the cuttlefish does not rely on this distraction alone. The display is not meant to last. It exists only to create a window, a brief pause in the prey's decision-making process. While the prey's attention is locked onto the shifting patterns, the cuttlefish's body remains perfectly positioned. The distance between predator and prey shrinks not because the cuttlefish advances, but because the prey drifts closer, misreading the situation as non-threatening or simply failing to interpret it at all. Then the performance ends abruptly. The feeding tentacles launch. Like squid, cuttlefish possess two specialized tentacles distinct from their 8 arms. These tentacles are normally hidden, folded tightly and invisible to the observer. When deployed, they extend with explosive speed, propelled by muscular contraction and elastic recoil. The clubs at their tips are equipped with rows of suckers designed for immediate adhesion. The extension is so fast that it often outpaces the prey's ability to initiate escape. There is no chase, no pursuit arc. The tentacles appear in the prey's space almost instantaneously. The moment of contact is final. Suckers attach, forming a secure grip that does not slip. The tentacles retract just as quickly, hauling the prey inward toward the cuttlefish's arms. At this point, any lingering confusion becomes irrelevant. The prey is no longer making decisions. It is being moved. The arms close around the prey, wrapping and pinning fins and body in a coordinated embrace. Each arm is lined with additional suckers that maintain contact even as the prey struggles. The enclosure is complete, and the open water that once offered escape now feels compressive and hostile. There are no walls, yet movement is impossible. The cuttlefish adjusts its grip continuously, responding to resistance with subtle shifts that maintain control. This is not brute force. It is precision restraint. Only after the prey is fully immobilized does the cuttlefish deploy its final tool. At the center of the arms lies the beak, a hard, curved structure capable of slicing through flesh and exoskeleton alike. The beak is positioned with exacting accuracy, guided by the arms that hold the prey at the correct angle. A single bite can sever the spinal cord of a fish or pierce the vital tissues of an invertebrate. The kill is efficient and contained, minimizing struggle and reducing the chance of attracting competitors. From start to finish, the sequence is remarkably short. The visual manipulation, the tentacle strike, the pull-in, and the bite unfold in rapid succession. Yet what distinguishes the cuttlefish from other predators is not the speed of its weapons, but the way it engineers the moment before they are used. Most predators rely on physical surprise. The cuttlefish relies on cognitive delay. It does not outrun or overpower perception. It overwhelms it. This strategy reflects the cuttlefish's position within its ecosystem. Shallow coastal habitats are visually complex and densely populated. Pure camouflage is often insufficient, as movement and changing light can reveal even well-matched patterns. By actively manipulating visual signals, cuttlefish turn environmental complexity into an advantage. Their displays do not need to be perfect imitations of the background. They only need to be disruptive enough to misdirect attention. The neurological control required for this behavior is substantial. Each chromatophore is individually innervated, allowing the cuttlefish to produce precise patterns at fine spatial scales. This control is integrated with sensory input, enabling rapid adjustments based on prey behavior. The cuttlefish is not running a fixed program. It is responding in real time, modulating its display to maintain effectiveness until the strike. There is also evidence that different prey species elicit different display strategies. Some patterns appear tuned to the visual sensitivities of specific fish, suggesting an evolutionary arms race between predator signaling and prey perception. As prey species evolve better discrimination, cuttlefish displays evolve greater complexity, pushing the limits of what visual systems can process quickly. This escalation does not favor clarity. It favors confusion. Ecologically, cuttlefish occupy a unique niche as predators that shape behavior through perception rather than presence alone. Prey animals in cuttlefish-rich environments may learn to avoid certain visual cues or react more quickly to anomalous patterns, but such adaptations come with trade-offs. Increased vigilance can reduce feeding efficiency and increase exposure to other predators. The cuttlefish exploits these compromises, operating in the narrow space between attention and overload. After a successful hunt, the cuttlefish often returns to apparent neutrality. The skin relaxes into muted tones that match the seabed, and the arms regroup beneath the body. The animal resumes its quiet hovering, indistinguishable from moments before. There is no visible trace of the encounter. The performance is over, and the stage resets. What makes this form of predation particularly unsettling is its intimacy. The prey is not chased across distance or struck from behind. It is engaged, visually and cognitively, before being seized physically. The attack unfolds as a sequence of misinterpretations, each one small enough to seem inconsequential until escape is no longer possible. In the shallow sea, where light should offer safety through awareness, the cuttlefish demonstrates that seeing more does not always mean understanding more. By turning its own body into a moving illusion, it buys the briefest pause in perception, and in that pause, it reaches out and ends the encounter. The brutality is not in the force of the strike, but in the precision of the distraction. The prey does not lose because it is slow or weak. It loses because, for just long enough, it is looking at the wrong thing. The reef at twilight is a place where boundaries soften, colors dull, contrasts flatten, and the clear geometry of daylight dissolves into layered shadow. Cavities in rock that once looked shallow deepen into black mouths. Crevices widen into corridors. For many animals, this is the hour of transition, when feeding peaks and risk multiplies. It is also the hour when the octopus becomes most dangerous, not because it moves faster or strikes harder than other predators, but because it transforms space itself. Where other hunters attack from outside, the octopus attacks from all directions at once. When it commits, the environment stops being open water and becomes a sealed chamber with no exits. An octopus at rest does not resemble a predator. Its body has no rigid outline, no fixed posture, no obvious weapons. It conforms to the surface beneath it, molding itself into cracks and depressions as though poured there. Skin texture shifts to match stone, coral or sand, while chromatophores quietly adjust color and contrast to erase depth cues. Even experienced prey species often register an octopus only as background noise, a distortion in the scenery rather than an organism with intent. This is not mere camouflage. It is spatial deception, the removal of an object from the prey's mental map. But invisibility is only the first phase. The true danger of the octopus lies not in remaining unseen, but in what happens after contact. Unlike predators that rely on speed to end encounters quickly, the octopus relies on certainty. Its goal is not to strike and disengage, but to close the system entirely, removing options until resistance becomes irrelevant. The arms are central to this strategy. Each of the 8 limbs is lined with hundreds of suckers, and each sucker operates as an independent gripping unit. These are not passive suction cups, relying solely on pressure differences. Octopus suckers combine muscular contraction with adhesive forces, allowing them to maintain grip even against textured or irregular surfaces. The strength of a single sucker is modest, but multiplied across dozens or hundreds, the effect becomes overwhelming. Once contact is established, detachment requires coordinated effort that prey animals simply cannot generate. What makes this system especially effective is control. An octopus does not move its arms as a single unit. Each arm contains a dense network of neurons, granting it a degree of autonomy unusual among animals. This distributed nervous system allows arms to explore, grasp, and adjust independently, responding to local conditions without waiting for central commands. In a hunting context, this means the octopus can apply pressure from multiple angles simultaneously, reacting to prey movement in real time. When an octopus initiates an attack, it rarely lunges in a straight line. Instead, it flows outward, arms extending in arcs that anticipate rather than chase. Prey that attempts to dart away often finds itself intercepted, not by the arm it saw coming, but by another that has already repositioned. The sensation, if it could be described, would be of water suddenly acquiring hands. The moment the first suckers attach, the encounter changes fundamentally. Open water no longer offers escape because movement now generates resistance rather than freedom. Every attempt to swim away brings more of the octopus into contact, more arms sliding into place, more points of attachment locking down fins, carapace or shell. This is the closing room. There are no walls, yet space collapses inward as the octopus envelops its prey. Unlike predators that aim to disable prey immediately through injury, the octopus prioritizes immobilization. It pins limbs, blocks propulsion, and restricts orientation. Fish find their fins plastered against their bodies, unable to generate thrust. Crustaceans discover their jointed legs held at awkward angles, leverage neutralized. Even animals with defensive spines or armor offer limited resistance because the octopus does not need to apply force at a single point. It applies it everywhere. This method has profound physiological consequences for the prey. Movement is not just a means of escape. It is also how many aquatic animals ventilate their gills. As the octopus tightens its grip, it interferes with water flow over respiratory surfaces. Oxygen availability drops. Carbon dioxide accumulates. Panic responses, which might aid escape under other circumstances, now accelerate exhaustion. The octopus does not need to suffocate its prey deliberately. Immobilization accomplishes the same outcome indirectly. While the arms maintain control, the octopus's body repositions with deliberate calm. The mantle shifts, the head angles, and the beak, previously hidden at the center of the arms, is brought into alignment. This repositioning is not rushed. The prey is already contained. The octopus can afford to be precise. The beak itself is a compact, hardened structure capable of exerting tremendous force over a small area. Unlike slicing teeth or suction-based kills, the beak functions as a puncture and processing tool. For soft-bodied prey, it can sever vital tissues quickly. For shelled animals, it can drill or crack, exploiting weaknesses in structure. In some cases, the octopus supplements this mechanical action with venom delivered through saliva, further incapacitating the prey by interfering with neural or muscular function. What is striking about this final phase is how little movement it requires. The prey does not thrash dramatically or attempt last-second escapes. It cannot. The encounter has already been decided by containment. The beak's action is not the climax of a struggle, but the conclusion of a process that began the moment the first arm made contact. This approach reflects the octopus's ecological niche as a predator that thrives in complex environments. Reefs, rocky bottoms, and kelp forests are spaces where speed alone is unreliable. Obstacles disrupt pursuit, and rapid movement can attract unwanted attention from larger predators. By turning predation into a matter of enclosure rather than chase, the octopus minimizes exposure and maximizes control. It does not announce itself with sudden bursts of speed. It simply removes freedom until nothing else is possible. The evolutionary trade-offs behind this strategy are significant. An octopus invests heavily in neural tissue, muscular control, and sensory integration. This comes at the cost of a short lifespan and high metabolic demand. Octopus lives are intense, compressed into relatively brief periods marked by rapid growth, frequent feeding, and complex behavior. There is little margin for inefficiency. Each hunt must succeed more often than it fails. This pressure has shaped an animal that treats predation as problem-solving rather than confrontation. The octopus does not overpower prey in the conventional sense. It outmaneuvers them spatially, converting a dynamic environment into a static one. Prey animals evolve to escape predators by moving faster or hiding better, find those strategies useless once an octopus commits. There is no direction left to flee. From the perspective of the surrounding ecosystem, octopus predation has cascading effects. By targeting a wide range of prey, including crabs, mollusks, and fish, octopuses influence population structures and competitive relationships. Their ability to access prey hidden in crevices or protected by shells gives them reach into niches unavailable to many other predators. This can reduce the dominance of certain species, opening space for others to flourish. There is also an unsettling intimacy to octopus attacks that distinguishes them from other marine predators. The prey is not taken from a distance or removed by forceful impact. It is embraced, surrounded, and slowly neutralized. The fight, such as it is, happens at zero distance, with no buffer of water between predator and prey. This intimacy is not emotional, but mechanical. It is the direct consequence of a strategy that replaces violence with inevitability. After feeding, the octopus often returns to its den, carrying remains with it or leaving little trace behind. The arms loosen, the skin shifts back to background tones, and the animal once again becomes part of the environment. To an observer arriving later, the scene offers no evidence of what occurred. The reef continues as before, unaware that a pocket of space briefly became a closed room where movement, oxygen, and choice were all removed. In the broader context of marine predation, the octopus represents an endpoint in the evolution of control-based hunting. Where speed predators win by arriving first and endurance predators win by lasting longest, the octopus wins by ensuring that once contact is made, the outcome is no longer negotiable. The prey does not lose because it is slower or weaker. It loses because the rules of space have changed. The closing room is not a place you enter willingly. It is created around you, arm by arm, sucker by sucker, until the ocean itself feels solid. And in that solidified space, the octopus does not rush. It has already won. The sandy flats of tropical seas look empty at first glance, an expanse of pale sediment interrupted only by the occasional burrow opening or scattered shell. There is no reef architecture here, no towering coral to break sightlines or funnel movement. Light pours down unobstructed, revealing everything that dares to move. For most predators, this is hostile ground. There is nowhere to hide, nowhere to ambush from, nowhere to disappear after a mistake. Yet this is precisely where the mimic octopus thrives, not by blending in, but by lying so convincingly that the ecosystem itself reacts in its favor. At rest, the mimic octopus is unimpressive. Its body is slender, its arms long and thin, its coloration muted to match the sand. It does not advertise power. It does not look dangerous. In a direct confrontation, it would lose to many predators that patrol these flats. It lacks heavy armor, crushing strength, or overwhelming speed. And yet, this apparent weakness is the foundation of its most lethal adaptation. The mimic octopus does not survive by being feared for what it is. It survives by being feared for what it pretends to be. Mimicry in nature is often described as a defensive strategy, a way for harmless animals to resemble toxic or aggressive ones long enough to avoid being eaten. In the mimic octopus, this concept has been taken several steps further. Its mimicry is not static, not limited to a single form, and not used only to escape danger. It is dynamic, context-sensitive, and deployed with intent. The mimic octopus does not simply look like something else. It performs it. The animal's body is uniquely suited for this role. With no rigid skeleton, it can reshape itself fluidly, redistributing mass and altering posture in ways that vertebrates cannot. Its arms act as independent elements, capable of stiffening, flattening, curling, or extending to create specific silhouettes. Chromatophores embedded in the skin shift color and contrast instantly, producing bold stripes, high contrast bands, or muted tones as needed. Texture changes further refine the illusion, smoothing the skin or roughening it to match the role being played. When threatened, the mimic octopus may suddenly elongate its body and arms, flattening them into flowing ribbons striped in black and white. In this configuration, it resembles a venomous sea snake, an animal widely avoided by reef and flat-dwelling predators alike. Fish that moments earlier might have approached now veer away sharply, unwilling to test the authenticity of the threat. The mimic octopus has not fled. It has altered the behavior of everything around it. In other situations, it may press its arms together and undulate across the sand, mimicking the shape and motion of a venomous flatfish or a lionfish-like silhouette with exaggerated fin movements. The effect is immediate. Space opens around the octopus as other animals back away, recalculating risk. The mimic octopus is not just avoiding attack. It is creating a zone of influence, a pocket of safety carved out through deception. But this is only half the story, and not the most unsettling half. Because the same illusions that keep predators at bay also manipulate prey. The mimic octopus understands something fundamental about animal behavior. Fear reshapes movement. When an organism perceives danger, it does not simply freeze or flee randomly. It chooses safer paths, retreats into predictable patterns, or hesitates just long enough to reassess. These reactions are exploitable. When hunting, the mimic octopus uses deception not to disappear, but to approach. A small fish foraging on the sand flat may detect movement and hesitate. The octopus responds not by hiding, but by becoming something else. It shifts into a form that signals danger, causing the fish to back away rather than advance. This retreat is often slow and cautious, exactly the kind of movement the octopus needs. As the prey focuses on avoiding the perceived threat, it stops scanning for others. Attention narrows. Awareness collapses inward. During this moment of confusion, the mimic octopus closes distance. It does not rush. Speed would break the illusion. Instead, it advances with controlled, deliberate movements, maintaining the disguise while shortening the gap. The prey believes it is creating space, but in reality, it is being herded. The mimic octopus is steering behavior without physical contact, using fear as a tool to reposition its target. Then the lie ends. In a sudden shift, the octopus abandons the disguise entirely. Arms that moments ago formed the outline of a different animal now explode outward, wrapping around the prey with precision. Suckers make instant contact, gripping scales or flesh with adhesive force. The prey, already off balance from its cautious retreat, has no time to react. The transformation from illusion to attack is so abrupt that the nervous system cannot recalibrate in time. The danger was supposed to stay at a distance. Instead, it is suddenly everywhere. What follows mirrors the octopus's signature kill method. Arms reposition independently, pinning fins and blocking movement. The prey finds itself enclosed in a space that did not exist moments earlier. Open sand becomes a sealed chamber of flesh and suction. Water flow is disrupted. Oxygen exchange falters. Panic accelerates exhaustion. The beak is brought into position, and the encounter ends not with a chase, but with containment. This is what makes the mimic octopus so disturbing from an ecological perspective. It does not merely trick predators into leaving it alone. It uses deception as a way to control the entire interaction space. The lie is not defensive. It is offensive. It is deployed not to escape, but to hunt. The evolutionary implications of this strategy are profound. Mimicry of this complexity requires advanced sensory processing, rapid decision-making, and fine motor control. The mimic octopus must identify the species present, assess which illusion will be most effective, and execute it convincingly, all in real time. This demands a level of cognitive flexibility rarely associated with invertebrates. The mimic octopus is not following a fixed script. It is choosing from a repertoire based on context. This flexibility also reveals a deeper truth about predator-prey relationships. Survival is not always about strength or speed. It is about information. The mimic octopus wins by feeding its environment false data, causing other animals to make decisions that benefit it. Predators avoid it because they believe it is something dangerous. Prey fall to it because they believe the danger is somewhere else. In the open sand flats, where visibility is high and hiding is difficult, this approach is uniquely effective. Traditional camouflage fails when there is nothing to blend into. Ambush fails when prey can see you coming from meters away. The mimic octopus solves this by turning visibility into a weapon. It allows itself to be seen, but not understood. The cost of this strategy is constant effort. Unlike animals that rely on static defenses, the mimic octopus must remain alert, responsive, and adaptive at all times. There is no default safe state. Every encounter requires assessment and performance. This may help explain the octopus's short lifespan and intense behavioral focus. Its life is a continuous negotiation with perception, a series of high-stakes interactions where one misjudgment can be fatal. For the ecosystem, the mimic octopus introduces a layer of uncertainty. Animals that share its habitat cannot rely solely on appearance to assess risk. A shape that looks dangerous may be harmless. A harmless-looking form may be a predator preparing to strike. This uncertainty increases vigilance and alters behavior across species, subtly reshaping how the sand-flat community functions. There is a bitter irony in how this plays out. Mimicry evolved as a way to avoid conflict, to borrow protection from another species' reputation. In the mimic octopus, that borrowed reputation becomes a knife. The very signal meant to deter attack becomes the means by which attack is delivered. When the encounter is over, the mimic octopus does not linger in triumph. It relaxes its grip, resumes its muted coloration, and flows back into the sandscape, as though nothing has happened. The performance ends. The stage is cleared. Only the absence of the prey hints at the truth. The lie worked. In a world where survival depends on reading the environment correctly, the mimic octopus proves that the most dangerous predators are not always the ones you fail to see. Sometimes they are the ones you see clearly, misinterpret completely, and step away from just long enough to be caught. The reef is not a single surface. It is a layered structure of openings and constrictions, a labyrinth built from limestone and thyme. From a distance it looks solid, but up close it is riddled with cracks, tunnels, and cavities that cut deep into the rock. These spaces are not empty. They are owned. Every hole is claimed, defended, and memorized by something that knows its dimensions better than any map ever could. To swim near a reef is to move past thousands of unseen thresholds, each one a potential point of no return. Among the most dangerous of these thresholds are the narrow doorways occupied by Moray eels. A Moray eel does not patrol the reef like a roaming hunter. It does not circle or chase or advertise its presence through motion. Instead, it inhabits the reef from the inside. Its body disappears into a crevice so completely that only the head remains visible, jaws slightly open, teeth exposed in what looks like a permanent snarl. This posture is often misread as aggression or threat display, but it is neither. The open mouth is a necessity, not a warning. Morays rely on continuous water flow across their gills to breathe, and in the confined spaces they occupy, opening the jaws is the simplest way to ventilate. What looks like menace is, in reality, patience. The head of a moray protruding from a hole is a study in contrasts. The eyes are small and not especially expressive, but the jaws are unmistakable, lined with long, backward-curving teeth designed to grip rather than slice. The skin is thick and leathery, often patterned to match the surrounding rock, breaking up the outline of the skull. To a passing fish or crustacean, the moray may not register as a full animal at all. It looks like part of the reef, a textured extension of stone with a mouth where no mouth should be. This illusion is reinforced by stillness. Morays can remain motionless for long periods, conserving energy and allowing the reef to normalize around them. Small fish resume their routines. Crabs scuttle along familiar paths. Cleaner species may even approach the eel's head, mistaking it for a static object rather than a predator. The reef breathes, and the moray waits. The attack, when it comes, does not unfold in open water. It begins at the boundary between outside and inside, at the precise moment when prey crosses the invisible line that separates maneuverable space from confinement. A fish investigating a crevice, a crab edging too close to a hole, or an animal fleeing another predator can all find themselves suddenly within reach. The moray does not need to move far. It lunges forward just enough to close the gap, jaws snapping shut with a clamp bite that is fast, decisive, and difficult to escape. This bite is not meant to kill immediately. Moray teeth are designed to hold. They curve backward, preventing prey from pulling free once contact is made. The force of the bite is sufficient to secure the prey, but the true danger lies in what follows. Instead of shaking its head or attempting to subdue the prey in open water, the moray retreats. The movement is backward, powerful, and deliberate. The eel pulls itself into the hole, dragging the captured animal with it. This retreat is the defining feature of the moray's hunting strategy. The prey is not removed from the environment. It is inserted into it. Open water, where fins and limbs might generate thrust or leverage, is replaced by stone walls that press in from all sides. Space collapses from 3 dimensions to 1. Inside the crevice, the physics of escape change completely. There is no room to turn, no angle from which to apply force effectively. Fins scrape uselessly against rock. Legs find no purchase. Every movement pushes the prey deeper rather than outward. The moray's body, long and muscular, fills the tunnel behind the prey, sealing off the entrance. What was once a refuge becomes a dead end. This is where the reef itself becomes the trap. The moray does not need to overpower its prey in open combat. It uses architecture. By dragging the prey into a space designed by geology rather than anatomy, it removes the advantages of speed, agility, and awareness. The prey does not lose because it is weak. It loses because it is in the wrong place. Within this confined space, the moray deploys an anatomical feature that elevates the encounter from dangerous to nightmarish. Like all moray eels, it possesses a second set of jaws located deep in the throat. These pharyngeal jaws are not passive structures. They are mobile, capable of lunging forward into the mouth cavity independently of the primary jaws. This adaptation is rare among vertebrates and uniquely suited to feeding in tight spaces. In most fish, prey is moved from mouth to esophagus through suction and coordinated head movements. In a narrow crevice, these mechanisms are ineffective. There is not enough room to generate the necessary water flow, and the moray cannot open its jaws wide without losing grip. The pharyngeal jaws solve this problem elegantly and brutally. Once the prey is secured by the outer jaws, the inner jaws shoot forward, clamp onto the prey and retract, pulling it deeper into the throat. This action is fast and mechanical, more like a grappling hook than a bite. The prey is not simply held, it is transferred. Each extension of the pharyngeal jaws advances the prey further inward, reducing the possibility of escape with every motion. There is no tug of war. The moray does not need to reposition or adjust its grip. The second set of jaws does the work invisibly, inside the darkness of the crevice. From the prey's perspective, this is the final loss of agency. Even if part of the body remains outside the eel's mouth, the internal grip ensures that retreat is impossible. Movement becomes futile, and resistance only accelerates exhaustion. Oxygen availability drops, as gill function is compromised by confinement and stress. The moray does not rush. It does not need to. The environment and anatomy are already aligned toward the same outcome. This method of hunting reflects the moray's role within the reef ecosystem. Morays are not apex predators in the sense of size or dominance. They do not control vast territories or take down large prey regularly. Instead, they specialize in the in-between spaces, targeting animals that use the reef's holes and cracks for shelter. In doing so, they regulate populations of species that might otherwise become too abundant, maintaining balance within the reef's intricate food web. Morays also often hunt in coordination with other predators, particularly groupers. In these interactions, the grouper may flush prey toward crevices, while the moray waits inside, ready to intercept. This loose cooperation benefits both species, demonstrating that even solitary hunters can participate in complex ecological relationships without direct communication. The reef is not just a backdrop. It is an active participant, channeling movement and shaping encounters. The evolutionary pressures that produced the moray's hunting strategy are evident in its body plan. The elongated form allows deep penetration into narrow spaces. The reduced reliance on vision is offset by a strong sense of smell, enabling morays to detect prey hidden from sight. The jaws prioritize grip over slicing, because in confined spaces, holding is more valuable than cutting. Every feature points toward the same conclusion. Success comes from owning the doorway. For other reef inhabitants, this creates a landscape of invisible risk. A hole that appears safe may already be occupied. A crack that promises escape may lead directly into a predator's domain. Over time, prey species adapt by altering their use of shelter, choosing openings based on size, depth, and scent cues. Yet these adaptations are always imperfect. The reef offers too many variables, too many entrances to assess completely. The moray thrives in this uncertainty. There is a grim irony in how this plays out. Reefs are often described as places of refuge, complex structures that provide shelter from open water predators. And they are, in many cases. But that same complexity creates niches for predators like morays, turning safety into vulnerability. The very behavior that protects prey from one threat exposes them to another. After feeding, the moray does not emerge triumphantly. It remains in its hole, digesting slowly, conserving energy. To the outside world, it looks unchanged, still just a head in a crack, jaws opening and closing rhythmically as water flows over the gills. The reef resumes its activity. Fish pass by. Crabs return to their routines. Only the absence of one animal marks the encounter, and even that absence fades quickly into the background noise of the ecosystem. In the end, the moray eel represents a form of predation that is inseparable from place. It does not dominate space by moving through it, but by occupying it completely. The doorway is not just an entrance. It is a weapon. Once crossed, the rules change, and escape becomes a concept rather than a possibility. The reef does not warn you which doorways are owned. It does not signal which cracks are safe and which are traps. That ambiguity is what keeps the system functioning, driving caution, adaptation, and evolution. And in that ambiguity, the moray waits, jaws open, breathing, patient, knowing that eventually something will step through the wrong opening and find that the reef itself has closed behind it. The shallow reef flat is a place of small assumptions. Creatures here live close to the substrate, hugging burrows, shells, and crevices that promise safety through proximity. Armor matters. Thickness matters. Distance to shelter matters. Evolution has taught many of these animals that survival is about resisting force, about enduring pressure long enough for a predator to give up or move on. In most cases, that logic works. In one case, it does not. Somewhere beneath the rubble, inside a tunnel reinforced with broken coral and sand, waits a predator that does not test armor or negotiate resistance. It simply applies physics until the argument ends. This is the domain of the mantis shrimp. At rest, a mantis shrimp does not appear exceptional. Its body is compact, segmented, and often brightly colored, an aesthetic that seems almost excessive for an animal that spends much of its life inside a burrow. The eyes sit high on stalks, rotating independently, scanning the surroundings with an intensity that suggests constant calculation. The front limbs are folded beneath the body, tucked away and unimposing. Nothing about this posture advertises violence. For prey moving across the reef, the mantis shrimp's burrow looks like just another hole among many, another place to shelter near, another neutral feature in a crowded environment. That misjudgment is fatal. The mantis shrimp is not a hunter that chases. It does not patrol or roam. It owns a small patch of reef and defends it with absolute authority. The burrow is not just a home. It is a firing position. From here, the mantis shrimp can observe the surrounding area while remaining protected, exposing only its eyes and antennae. Prey that passes nearby may see movement, but movement alone is not alarming. In a reef ecosystem full of flickers and shadows, danger is usually associated with approach. The mantis shrimp does not approach. Instead, it waits for prey to commit the oldest mistake in shallow water: trusting armor. Snails creep along the substrate, shells thick and spiraled, built to resist crushing jaws. Crabs scuttle past, exoskeletons reinforced at joints and carapace. Even small fish may hover near the burrow entrance, assuming that proximity to cover equals safety. These animals have survived countless encounters by relying on hardness, on the idea that if they can endure the first bite, they can escape. Against most predators, that assumption is reasonable. Against a mantis shrimp, it is irrelevant. The strike begins without warning. There is no lunge, no visible preparation. The mantis shrimp's raptorial appendage, folded beneath the body, releases like a spring under extreme tension. Muscles contract, elastic structures snap forward, and the limb accelerates faster than almost any other movement in the animal kingdom. The speed is so extreme that water cannot move out of the way quickly enough. Instead, it collapses. At the moment of impact, two things happen almost simultaneously. The hardened club at the end of the limb slams into the prey with enough force to fracture shell or exoskeleton outright. At the same instant, the rapid movement creates a low-pressure zone in the surrounding water, causing it to vaporize briefly into a cavitation bubble. This bubble forms, expands, and then collapses violently, releasing a secondary shockwave and a burst of heat and light. The prey is hit twice, once by the physical blow, and once by the implosion of the water itself. This is not a metaphor. It is physics acting at biological scale. The cavitation event adds damage even when the club does not make perfect contact. Shells can crack not only where they are struck, but from the shockwave that follows. Soft tissues can be stunned or ruptured by the pressure change alone. In some cases, prey is incapacitated even if the shell remains mostly intact. The nervous system does not process this as a single event. It experiences it as chaos, mechanical trauma layered with sensory overload. For the prey, the world ends not with a struggle, but with disorientation. The impact scrambles neural signals. Orientation is lost. Muscles misfire. Limbs fail to respond. Even animals that might otherwise survive shell damage are left unable to coordinate movement. The mantis shrimp does not need to chase or strike again immediately. The fight, if it could be called that, is already over. What makes this aggression so unsettling is its precision. The mantis shrimp does not strike wildly. It aims. Its visual system is among the most complex known, capable of detecting fine details in movement and contrast. The eyes can judge distance and alignment with remarkable accuracy, ensuring that the strike lands exactly where it will do the most damage. This is not brute force applied indiscriminately. It is targeted violence delivered with surgical intent. The limb itself is built to survive these impacts. The club is layered with specialized materials that absorb and redirect stress, preventing catastrophic failure. Microstructures within the cuticle dissipate energy, allowing the mantis shrimp to deliver repeated blows without destroying its own weapon. Evolution has reinforced this limb not for flexibility or endurance, but for repeated high-energy collisions with hard targets. This design reflects the mantis shrimp's ecological niche. In environments where many prey species rely on shells and armor, a predator that can bypass those defenses gains access to food sources others cannot exploit. The mantis shrimp does not compete with shell-crushing fish or slow, persistent predators. It operates on a different plane, turning what should be safe prey into vulnerable targets in an instant. There is also a psychological dimension to this strategy, though it is entirely one-sided. For prey species, proximity to shelter often signals reduced risk. Burrows are usually refuges, not threats. The mantis shrimp inverts that logic completely. Its burrow is not a place to avoid. It is a place to fear. Any animal that comes too close is within range of a weapon that ignores traditional defenses. The aggression here is not sustained. It does not escalate. It is binary. Either the strike lands or it does not. If it does, the outcome is immediate. If it does not, the mantis shrimp retreats back into its burrow, reassessing, waiting for another opportunity. This selectivity ensures efficiency. Energy is expended only when success is highly likely. From an ecological perspective, mantis shrimp exert pressure on prey populations in ways that ripple outward. By targeting well-armored species, they influence shell thickness, behavior, and habitat use. Snails may alter their movement patterns. Crabs may avoid certain substrates. These changes affect grazing pressure, sediment turnover, and even coral health. The mantis shrimp's influence extends far beyond the individuals it kills. There is also a social dimension within mantis shrimp populations. Burrows are valuable, defended aggressively against rivals. Fights between mantis shrimp are not reckless exchanges of blows. They are ritualized, involving displays and controlled strikes designed to assess strength without catastrophic injury. This restraint highlights a critical point. The mantis shrimp understands its own weapon. It does not deploy it indiscriminately. When it uses full force, it is because the target is meant to break. After a successful strike, the mantis shrimp may drag the stunned or broken prey into its burrow. Consumption is methodical. The urgency has passed. The danger is gone. The environment returns to its quiet rhythm, with only scattered shell fragments or subtle disturbances hinting at what just occurred. To an outside observer, it may look like nothing more than routine reef activity. But beneath that routine lies a lesson written into the behavior of every animal that shares this habitat. Armor is not absolute. Shelter is not always safety. And violence does not always announce itself with pursuit or struggle. Sometimes it arrives as a single, perfectly timed application of force that the nervous system cannot interpret quickly enough to respond. The mantis shrimp does not dominate the reef through size or numbers. It dominates through inevitability. Once prey enters the strike zone, the outcome is governed by physics rather than biology. Shells crack. Nerves misfire. Consciousness falters. There is no adaptation that allows prey to brace for cavitation. No reflex that outruns a pressure wave. In the end, the mantis shrimp represents a boundary where evolution hands control over to fundamental forces. It does not need to be faster than its prey. It does not need to be stronger in a traditional sense. It only needs to deliver energy faster than the environment can absorb it. When it does, the reef itself seems to recoil, momentarily shocked by the release. The punch you do not survive is not just a blow. It is a demonstration. A reminder that in nature, survival is not always about endurance or resistance. Sometimes, it is about avoiding the one moment when physics, muscle, and intent align perfectly. and a seemingly safe space becomes the epicenter of an impact that ends everything before thought can catch up. The sandy bottom of the sea is often mistaken for neutrality. It looks flat, exposed, and empty, a pale expanse where danger should be easy to see coming. Unlike reefs or kelp forests, there are no obvious hiding places here, no shadows deep enough to conceal a predator's outline. For many animals, this openness reads as safety. It is a place to rest, to forage, to pass through without the constant vigilance demanded by more complex terrain. That assumption is exactly what makes sand one of the most dangerous surfaces in the ocean. Because sand does not hide predators behind it. It hides them inside it. A stingray does not arrive with motion. It arrives by disappearing. One moment it is visible, its flattened body gliding low over the bottom like a living shadow, and the next it is gone, erased with a few controlled ripples of its fins. Sand lifts, settles, and smooths itself out again, leaving no outline, no raised mound, no sign that anything larger than a worm lies beneath. The stingray does not simply cover itself. It integrates with the substrate, drawing sand up and over its body until its shape dissolves into the seabed itself. What remains visible, if anything, are the eyes and spiracles, barely protruding, positioned to draw in water for breathing, while the rest of the animal vanishes completely. This burying behavior is not crude or rushed. It is precise, refined by millions of years of selection. The stingray uses subtle undulations of its disc to fluidize the sand, allowing grains to flow like water around its body. As the sand settles, it conforms perfectly to the ray's outline, eliminating shadows and edges that visual systems rely on to detect shape. The ray's coloration, already matched to the surrounding sediment, completes the illusion. To any animal passing above, the bottom appears unchanged, uninterrupted, safe. From beneath the sand, the stingray is not blind. It senses the world above through vibrations, pressure changes, and electrical signals emitted by the muscles and nerves of living animals. Specialized electroreceptors embedded in the skin detect these faint bioelectric fields with remarkable sensitivity. Every movement overhead, every heartbeat, every twitch of a fin registers as information. The stingray does not need to see its prey. It feels it. This sensory advantage allows the stingray to remain completely still while maintaining full awareness of its surroundings. Stillness is critical. Movement would betray position, lifting sand and breaking the illusion. The ray waits until prey crosses directly overhead, until distance collapses not through pursuit, but through coincidence. The prey does not approach danger. It passes over it. The attack, when it happens, is vertical. There is no warning glide, no lateral movement that might trigger an escape response. The stingray explodes upward from the sand in a sudden lift, its powerful pectoral fins driving the body off the bottom in a single motion. The sand erupts beneath it, but by the time this disturbance becomes visible, the strike is already underway. Prey that rely on horizontal escape routes find themselves reacting in the wrong direction. Danger is not coming from the side. It is coming from below. For prey animals, this orientation is disorienting. Most escape reflexes are tuned to threats approaching along the same plane. Vertical attacks disrupt those reflexes, forcing a recalculation that costs time. In that delay, the stingray closes distance. The body of the ray itself may make contact, pinning or stunning prey against the water column. But the most dangerous weapon is not the disc. It is the tail. Trailing behind the stingray is a long, muscular tail armed with one or more serrated spines coated in venomous tissue. This is not a spear meant to be thrust forward like a sword. It is a rear-facing knife, positioned to strike anything that comes too close from above or behind. As the ray lifts and twists, the tail whips upward in a reflexive arc, embedding the spine into whatever occupies that space. The venom delivered through the spine is not primarily lethal in the way neurotoxins are. Its role is to incapacitate through intense pain, tissue damage, and disruption of normal muscle function. For small prey, this can be fatal. For larger animals, including predators or accidental intruders, it is immediately disabling. The stingray does not need to pursue a wounded target. Once contact is made, the encounter is effectively over. What makes this attack especially terrifying is how little information precedes it. There is no visual cue, no silhouette moving closer, no gradual escalation. One moment the sand is inert. The next it is a launch point. This absence of warning undermines the very idea of situational awareness. Prey animals cannot avoid what they cannot perceive, and the stingray's strategy is built entirely around that principle. Ecologically, stingrays occupy a role as benthic ambush predators, regulating populations of animals that live on or just above the seafloor. Crustaceans, mollusks, and small fish that forage in sand-heavy environments must contend with a predator that turns the ground itself into a weapon. This pressure shapes behavior in subtle ways. Some species reduce time spent stationary on open sand. Others develop heightened sensitivity to pressure changes. None of these adaptations are foolproof. The stingray's ability to bury itself also serves a defensive function. When not hunting, remaining hidden reduces exposure to larger predators. Sharks and other apex hunters often rely on motion to locate prey. A stingray that remains motionless beneath the sand is difficult to detect even for these animals. This dual use of burying, as both offense and defense, makes it one of the most efficient strategies in open bottom habitats. There is an irony to the stingray's reputation among humans. It is often described as passive, gentle, even graceful. And in many contexts, that description holds. Stingrays do not actively seek conflict with large animals. They do not chase swimmers or attack without provocation. Yet the same adaptations that make them effective hunters also make accidental encounters dangerous. When a large animal steps on or near a buried ray, the stingray responds instinctively, striking upward with the tail. The danger is not malice. It is proximity to an invisible weapon. This highlights a broader truth about predation in sand environments. Danger is not always associated with aggression. Sometimes it is associated with position. The stingray does not need to choose to attack. If something enters the wrong space, the response is automatic. From the perspective of prey, the psychological effect of this predation strategy is profound. Sand should be safe. It is open, well lit, easy to scan. Yet here, safety is an illusion. The bottom itself becomes suspect, a surface that cannot be trusted. This forces animals to behave as though danger is omnipresent, even when no predator is visible. Such constant vigilance carries costs, reducing feeding efficiency and increasing energy expenditure. After a strike, the stingray often settles back down, burying itself once more as the sand resettles. The entire sequence, from invisibility to eruption to disappearance, can take only moments. To an observer arriving later, there is no sign of violence. The seabed looks unchanged, calm, empty. The trap has reset. The stingray's hunting method does not rely on speed over distance or strength in prolonged struggle. It relies on certainty created through concealment. By removing visual cues entirely, it denies prey the chance to choose correctly. The attack is not faster than reaction. It occurs before reaction is even triggered. In this way, stingrays represent a category of predator defined not by pursuit or dominance, but by positional control. They own the floor. Anything that crosses it without awareness risks triggering a response that cannot be outrun or dodged because it was never seen in the first place. The terror of invisible danger underfoot is not abstract. It is a lived reality for every animal that feeds, rests, or migrates across sandy bottoms. Each movement carries the possibility that the ground will rise up and strike back. The stingray does not need to advertise its power. It simply waits, patient and unseen, knowing that eventually something will pass too close and learn that even the quietest places in the ocean are never truly empty. The riverbed at night is a place where confidence quietly turns into liability. Daylight predators fade back into cover, and the water fills with movement that feels cautious but purposeful. Visibility drops to almost nothing. Shapes dissolve into gradients of darkness and silt. In this environment, survival depends less on seeing danger coming and more on knowing when not to touch what you cannot identify. This is where catfish stop being overlooked scavengers and become something far more dangerous. walking traps built to punish curiosity. A catfish resting on the bottom does not look like a threat. Its body lies heavy against the substrate, whisker-like barbels extending outward like soft sensory threads, sweeping slowly through the water. These barbels are not decorative. They are densely packed with taste and touch receptors, allowing the catfish to read the chemical and physical landscape in complete darkness. To a predator scanning for prey, this posture reads as passive, even clumsy. The catfish appears slow, grounded, and unremarkable. That misinterpretation is the first mistake. Unlike pursuit predators that rely on speed or ambush hunters that depend on concealment, many catfish operate as reactive weapons. They do not need to strike first. They wait for contact. Their bodies are built to absorb attention and then punish it instantly. This is not a chase and kill system. It is a counter-ambush, a reversal where the attacker becomes the victim the moment it closes distance. The key to this reversal lies in the spines. Along the leading edges of the pectoral fins, and often on the dorsal fin, catfish possess rigid, sharpened spines capable of locking into place. These spines are not flexible rays like those found in most fish. They are hardened structures that can be erected almost instantly through muscular control. In many species, the spines are also venomous, coated in glandular tissue that delivers toxins directly into wounds created by penetration. The venom itself is not designed for predation. It is designed for pain, inflammation, and deterrence. When a predator bites or presses down on a catfish, the spines deploy reflexively, stabbing into soft tissue such as the mouth, throat, or gills. The venom enters immediately, triggering intense pain, muscle dysfunction, and swelling. For a predator, this is not a warning. It is an emergency. What makes this defense especially effective is timing. The catfish does not telegraph its response. The spines are not held upright constantly, which would signal danger and encourage avoidance. They remain folded close to the body until the moment of contact. To a predator relying on tactile confirmation before committing to a bite, this delay is catastrophic. By the time the threat is recognized, the spines are already embedded. The motion itself is violent and precise. When touched or grasped, the catfish stiffens its body and flares its fins outward, locking the spines at maximum extension. This sudden expansion increases the effective width of the fish, making it harder to swallow or dislodge. At the same time, the spines act as anchors, catching against flesh and cartilage. Predators attempting to shake or release the catfish often worsen the injury, driving the spines deeper and spreading venom more effectively. This is where the ambush reverses completely. The predator is now the trapped one, dealing with pain and loss of motor control, while the catfish remains largely intact. Many predators respond by releasing the catfish immediately, retreating in distress. Some learn quickly and never attempt to attack a similar shape again. Others are not so fortunate. From an ecological perspective, this defensive aggression reshapes predator behavior. Catfish often occupy murky or low-visibility habitats where visual cues are unreliable. Predators in these environments rely heavily on touch, suction, or rapid bites to secure prey. The catfish exploits this reliance perfectly. It allows the predator to initiate the interaction, then turns that commitment into punishment. The effectiveness of this strategy is amplified by the catfish's overall physiology. Their skin is tough and often coated in a layer of mucus that reduces friction and makes gripping difficult. Their bodies are muscular enough to resist being crushed easily, but flexible enough to twist and brace during an attack. Combined with the locking spines, this makes catfish exceptionally hard to handle safely once contact is made. Venom composition varies widely among catfish species, but its purpose remains consistent. The toxins cause localized pain, inflammation, and in some cases systemic effects such as dizziness or muscle spasms. For fish predators, even brief impairment can be fatal, increasing vulnerability to other threats or disrupting respiration. For mammals or birds that attempt to seize a catfish, the pain is immediate and memorable, often leading to rapid release. This creates a powerful learning loop in the ecosystem. Predators that survive an encounter with a venomous catfish often alter their hunting behavior permanently. They become more cautious, more selective, avoiding bottom-dwelling shapes with rigid outlines or fin projections. This shift can ripple outward, changing pressure on other prey species and altering the structure of food webs. The catfish does not need to kill predators to influence them. It only needs to hurt them badly enough once. There is also a darker side to this interaction. In confined spaces, such as narrow channels or shallow pools, a predator may be unable to disengage cleanly after being spined. In these cases, the injury can escalate quickly, leading to infection, tissue damage, or death. The catfish does not pursue or exploit this outcome. It simply survives it. But survival, repeated across generations, is enough. What makes catfish especially dangerous is how unassuming they remain, even after delivering pain. They do not chase the retreating predator. They do not posture or display dominance. They sink back into stillness, blending once again into the bottom. The trap resets immediately. This consistency reinforces the illusion that they are harmless until proven otherwise. The counter-ambush nature of catfish defense also explains why they thrive in environments with high predator diversity. In rivers, lakes, estuaries, and muddy coastal zones, predators range from fish to reptiles to birds. Many of these predators use different hunting strategies, but all must make contact to consume prey. The catfish's solution works against all of them. Touch becomes the trigger, and touch is unavoidable in murky water. This strategy is especially effective at night, when visual assessment is limited and hunting relies on proximity. Predators moving confidently through darkness encounter a shape that feels edible, only to be punished instantly for the assumption. Curiosity becomes pain. Aggression becomes retreat. From an evolutionary standpoint, the catfish represents a shift away from active defense toward automatic retaliation. It does not assess threat level or choose when to defend. The system is reflexive, mechanical, and immediate. This removes hesitation and reduces the chance of error. In environments where milliseconds matter, such simplicity is an advantage. There is a quiet brutality in this approach. The catfish does not need to be faster, stronger, or smarter than its attacker. It only needs to ensure that the first mistake is the last one that predator makes. The pain delivered is not excessive. It is sufficient. It teaches, conditions, and reshapes behavior without requiring repeated encounters. After the incident, the riverbed returns to its slow rhythm. Sediment drifts. Invertebrates resume their movements. The catfish settles back into the substrate, barbels extending once more, reading the water as if nothing has happened. The predator, if it survives, carries the lesson elsewhere, altering its choices and avoiding shapes it once ignored. In this way, catfish occupy a strange position in aquatic ecosystems. They are not apex predators. They do not dominate through fear alone. They dominate through consequence. Their power lies not in what they seek out, but in what happens to those that seek them out instead. The spine ambush is not about offense. It is about turning vulnerability into leverage. In the dark, in the mud, in water where sight fails, the catfish teaches a simple rule that governs survival far more effectively than speed or strength. Not everything that looks safe is safe to touch. And sometimes the moment you decide to strike is the moment the pain begins. The reef at first glance feels alive in every direction. Fish weave through coral branches, sunlight fractures into shifting patterns, and water movement gives the impression of constant opportunity. It is an environment defined by motion and choice, where survival often comes down to speed, awareness, and the ability to turn at the right moment. Yet within this apparent freedom moves a predator that does not rush, does not chase, and does not need to surprise. The lionfish glides through the reef like a floating structure, ornate and deliberate, carrying its trap with it wherever it goes. A lionfish does not resemble a hunter in the conventional sense. Its body is compact, its movement unhurried, almost ceremonial. Long fin rays fan outward in every direction, tipped with venomous spines that radiate like the ribs of an umbrella. These fins do not slice the water. They displace it gently, creating slow currents that seem harmless to nearby fish. The lionfish does not hide these fins. It displays them openly, expanding its profile until it looks too large, too awkward, too obvious to be dangerous. To prey accustomed to predators built for speed and pursuit, this appearance reads as inefficient, even clumsy. That interpretation is fatal. The power of the lionfish lies not in force, but in control. It does not attack prey directly. It shapes the environment around them. As the lionfish approaches a group of small fish, it angles its body subtly, rotating so that its fins form a wide arc. This is not random movement. The fins are positioned to limit escape routes, blocking lateral movement and steering prey away from open water. Fish react instinctively, turning away from the apparent barrier, unaware that they are being guided rather than threatened. This behavior is known as fin fencing, and it represents one of the most precise forms of herding seen in marine predators. The lionfish uses its fins like movable walls, adjusting their angle and spacing to compress the prey's available space. Each fin ray functions as part of a living net, flexible enough to adapt, rigid enough to intimidate. Prey fish do not perceive these fins as immediate danger. They do not trigger panic responses or explosive flight. Instead, they respond with cautious avoidance, drifting away from the fins and into increasingly constrained positions. The lionfish exploits this hesitation relentlessly. It advances slowly, never accelerating enough to alarm its targets. The reef itself becomes part of the trap. Coral heads, rock faces, and ledges act as fixed boundaries, while the lionfish's fins close off the remaining exits. What begins as open water narrows into a corner, then into a pocket, then into a dead end. The prey does not realize it is trapped until there is nowhere left to go. Throughout this process, the lionfish remains calm. Its movements are minimal, precise, almost indifferent. There is no visible escalation, no moment that signals imminent attack. This absence of urgency is critical. Many prey species are adapted to respond to sudden changes in speed or direction. They are far less equipped to recognize danger that unfolds slowly and deliberately. The lionfish turns time itself into a weapon, stretching the encounter until the prey's options quietly disappear. Once the prey is fully cornered, the final act is instantaneous. The lionfish tilts its head slightly and opens its mouth, expanding it rapidly to create a powerful suction force. Water rushes inward, carrying the prey with it. The fish vanishes into the mouth before any meaningful escape response can occur. There is no chase, no struggle, no second chance. The trap closes, and the scene resets almost immediately. This suction feeding is highly efficient. The lionfish's jaws and buccal cavity are designed to expand quickly, generating enough negative pressure to pull in prey from a short distance. Because the prey has already been immobilized spatially, there is no need for pursuit or repeated strikes. One controlled inhalation is enough. The lionfish swallows the prey whole, often returning to its slow patrol within moments. What makes this hunting strategy particularly unsettling is how little it relies on physical confrontation. The lionfish does not overpower its prey. It does not need to. By the time the final strike occurs, the prey has already lost. Its defeat was decided minutes earlier, when the first fin blocked the first escape route. The actual kill is almost an afterthought, a mechanical conclusion to a process of careful positioning. Venom plays a secondary role in this strategy. The spines along the lionfish's fins are venomous, capable of delivering painful stings to predators that attempt to attack it. This defense allows the lionfish to hunt openly without fear of interference. Few predators are willing to risk contact with such a conspicuous array of spines. As a result, the lionfish can focus entirely on controlling prey behavior rather than watching its own back. The trap swims unchallenged through the reef. From an ecological perspective, this combination of slow herding and defensive venom is extraordinarily effective. Lionfish are capable of consuming large numbers of small reef fish in relatively short periods, exerting intense pressure on local populations. Their method does not discriminate between strong and weak individuals. Any fish that wanders into the trap is equally vulnerable. Over time, this can alter the structure of reef communities, reducing the abundance of species that play critical roles in grazing algae or recycling nutrients. The lionfish's success is amplified by its adaptability. It can hunt alone or in loose coordination with others, overlapping fin barriers to create larger traps. It can operate in complex reef environments or over simpler substrates, adjusting its fin positions to match available structures. It is not dependent on a specific habitat feature. It carries its hunting apparatus with it at all times. This portability is what makes the lionfish such a formidable invasive species in regions where it has been introduced. Native prey species have not evolved alongside this method of predation. They do not recognize fin fencing as a threat and fail to respond appropriately until it is too late. In these ecosystems, the lionfish's living net captures prey at rates far higher than native predators, destabilizing food webs that lack effective checks on its population. The psychological dimension of this predation cannot be ignored. For prey animals, danger is often associated with speed, shadows, or sudden movement. The lionfish offers none of these cues. It is visible, slow, and ornate. Its presence does not trigger alarm until the trap is nearly complete. This mismatch between appearance and threat undermines instinctive defenses, allowing the lionfish to operate almost invisibly despite being in plain sight. After feeding, the lionfish does not retreat to a den or hide within the reef. It continues to drift, fins still extended, trap still assembled. The environment does not change its behavior because the lionfish remains part of it, moving with the same unhurried rhythm. To other fish, it is just another shape in the water, another obstacle to swim around, another presence to be avoided gently rather than urgently. That misinterpretation ensures the next hunt will unfold just as smoothly. There is a quiet inevitability to this process that distinguishes the lionfish from more dramatic predators. There is no spectacle, no explosive violence, no visible struggle. The reef simply loses individuals, one by one, guided calmly into a mouth that was waiting all along. The lionfish does not need to dominate through fear or speed. It dominates through patience and geometry. In a system built on motion, the lionfish wins by controlling where motion is allowed to go. Its fins define boundaries, its body sets angles, and its calm presence masks the closing walls of the trap. The prey believes it is making safe choices, responding correctly to obstacles, avoiding immediate danger. In reality, every turn brings it closer to the same outcome. The living net does not snap shut suddenly. It tightens gradually, invisibly, until escape is no longer possible. By the time the prey understands what is happening, the water itself is moving in the wrong direction and the hunt is already over. The shallow reef is where confidence lives. Light penetrates easily here, turning water clear and familiar, revealing coral heads, sand patches, and scattered rocks in sharp detail. This is the zone where animals forage openly and where larger creatures slow down, trusting visibility to compensate for risk. It is also where humans wade, float, and explore, lulled into the belief that danger announces itself through movement or size. The stonefish thrives precisely because this belief is wrong. It does not chase. It does not warn. It does not need to. The stonefish is not a hunter in the traditional sense. It is a consequence waiting patiently for contact. At rest, a stonefish does not resemble an animal at all. Its body collapses into the reef, thick and irregular, coated in textured skin that mimics algae, encrusting organisms, and eroded rock. Its coloration is not a single hue, but a mosaic of browns, greys, greens, and muted reds, matching the surrounding substrate with unnerving precision. Bumps, ridges, and filaments break up its outline, eliminating recognizable anatomy. Even the eyes, positioned high on the head, appear like pits or shadows, rather than organs. In stillness, the stonefish becomes indistinguishable from the terrain it inhabits. This camouflage is not incidental. It is the core of the stonefish's survival strategy. Unlike ambush predators that rely on concealment until the moment of attack, the stonefish relies on being misclassified entirely. It is not mistaken for something harmless. It is mistaken for nothing at all. To the reef community, it is scenery. Because of this, the stonefish does not need to adjust its position frequently. It chooses a suitable patch of reef or rubble, settles into it, and remains there for extended periods. Small fish may swim directly past its face. Crustaceans crawl across its body. Nothing reacts because nothing perceives a threat. The stonefish does not flinch. It does not orient toward prey. Its metabolism is low, its energy expenditure minimal. The environment moves around it while it remains unchanged. When the stonefish feeds, it does so with minimal motion. If a fish wanders close enough, the stonefish opens its mouth suddenly, generating a rapid suction that pulls prey inside. The strike is fast, but it is not dramatic. There is no pursuit, no visible escalation. The prey disappears, and the stonefish resumes its stillness almost immediately. Even this act of predation is secondary to the stonefish's true power. The real danger of the stonefish is not what happens when something approaches its mouth. It is what happens when something touches its back. Running along the dorsal surface of the stonefish are stout, hollow spines connected to venom glands. These spines are not used actively. The stonefish does not strike with them or aim them. They are contact-triggered weapons, designed to activate only when pressure is applied. When a foot, fin, or paw presses down on the stonefish, the spines puncture upward, injecting venom directly into the tissue above them. This mechanism is brutally efficient. There is no warning, no time to withdraw. The venom is delivered at the exact moment contact is made, driven by the force of the intruder's own weight. The more pressure applied, the deeper the spines penetrate, and the more venom is injected. The stonefish does not need to react. The physics of contact do the work. The venom itself is among the most potent found in reef fish. It is a complex mixture of toxins that disrupt nerve signaling, cause intense pain, induce tissue damage, and interfere with cardiovascular function. The pain is immediate and overwhelming, often described as incapacitating rather than merely severe. Muscles around the wound may spasm or lose coordination. In extreme cases, systemic effects can lead to shock or respiratory distress. For smaller animals, the encounter is frequently fatal. For larger animals, survival depends on rapid withdrawal and sheer luck. What makes this especially unfair is that the stonefish does not behave like a predator at the moment of envenomation. It does not pursue or escalate. It simply remains where it is, absorbing the contact and delivering the consequence. The victim's injury is not the result of being hunted. It is the result of making a single, irreversible mistake. This is why stonefish are most dangerous in the shallows. These environments encourage casual movement. Animals rest on the bottom. Fish hover low. Larger creatures settle or brace themselves against rocks. Humans wade, step, and kneel. The assumption is that anything dangerous would move away or signal its presence. The stonefish violates this assumption completely. It does not flee. It does not display. It allows itself to be stepped on. From an ecological perspective, this strategy has far-reaching effects. The stonefish's presence alters how other animals interact with the reef floor. Species that are sensitive to pressure or vibration may avoid settling on certain substrates. Others evolve behaviors that reduce contact with unknown surfaces. Over time, these pressures shape movement patterns and habitat use, subtly influencing the structure of the reef community. The stonefish itself pays little cost for this power. Its venom glands replenish over time, and the spines remain functional even after repeated use. Because envenomation is defensive rather than offensive, it does not require frequent deployment. Many stonefish may go their entire lives without ever injecting venom, simply because nothing makes the mistake of touching them. But the potential is always present, embedded invisibly in the reef. There is a grim elegance to this design. The stonefish has outsourced aggression to the environment. It does not need speed, strength, or awareness. It only needs to exist in a place where contact is likely. Its body is a mine disguised as a rock, triggered not by intent but by pressure. For prey species, this creates a unique form of risk. Unlike predators that can be avoided through vigilance or escape, the stonefish cannot be outrun or outmaneuvered. It cannot be detected through motion. Avoidance requires perfect identification, and perfect identification requires knowledge that many species simply do not have. The stonefish exploits this gap mercilessly. Even apex predators are not immune. Sharks and large fish that misjudge a stonefish's position may suffer injuries that impair hunting or swimming. While these animals are unlikely to die directly from the venom, the pain and tissue damage can have lasting consequences. The stonefish does not need to kill a shark to affect it. It only needs to wound it badly enough once. After an encounter, the stonefish does not move away from the site. It remains exactly where it was, blending back into the scenery as if nothing has occurred. The reef absorbs the event quietly. There is no visible sign of danger lingering in the water, no marker to warn others. The landmine resets itself automatically. This is the most unsettling aspect of the stonefish's strategy. It does not teach through display or repeated encounters. It teaches through absence. Those that survive learn to fear contact with the unknown. Those that do not survive leave no warning behind. The lesson is carried only in memory and instinct, not in the landscape itself. In evolutionary terms, the stonefish represents a departure from traditional predator-prey dynamics. It does not rely on interaction. It relies on error. Its success is measured not by how often it hunts, but by how rarely it needs to do anything at all. Stillness is not passivity. It is readiness. To move through a reef that contains stonefish is to navigate a minefield without a map. Every step, every rest, every casual touch carries the possibility of catastrophic consequence. The reef, for all its beauty and abundance, is not just alive. It is armed. The stonefish embodies this truth perfectly. It is a weapon disguised as scenery, a reminder that in nature, danger does not always announce itself with motion or teeth. Sometimes it waits, unmoving, indistinguishable from the world around it, until the moment someone assumes that what looks like a rock must be safe to touch. The reef often teaches a simple lesson through repetition. Speed survives, armor endures, and softness loses. Brightly lit shallows and exposed surfaces seem hostile to anything slow, fragile, or defenseless. In these environments, survival appears to belong to those that can flee quickly, bite hard, or hide perfectly. Yet scattered across this same terrain are creatures that violate every one of those assumptions. They crawl instead of swim. They lack shells, spines, or claws. Their bodies are soft enough to deform under gentle pressure. And still, they persist. Not by outrunning danger or overpowering it, but by turning biology itself into a weapon. This is the unsettling reality of certain sea slugs, animals that survive not by avoiding poison, but by stealing it. At first glance, a sea slug looks like a mistake. Its body drapes across rock or coral like melted wax, often painted in colors so vivid they seem almost reckless. Neon blues, electric yellows, blazing oranges, stark whites edged in black. In a world where camouflage saves lives, these colors appear to invite attention. The slug moves slowly, propelled by rippling muscular contractions along its underside. There is no urgency, no alert posture, no visible readiness to flee. To an untrained eye, it looks like an easy meal. Predators notice it too. Fish approach cautiously at first, circling, assessing. Many reef predators rely on experience as much as instinct, and experience tells them that small, slow-moving animals are often edible. The slug does not react. It does not retract, dart away, or hide. It continues its slow crawl, as if unaware or unconcerned. This lack of response is not ignorance. It is confidence earned through chemistry. Some sea slugs, particularly nudibranchs, feed on organisms that are themselves chemically defended. Sponges loaded with toxic compounds, anemones armed with venomous cells, hydroids and bryozoans that produce substances meant to deter consumption. For most animals, eating such prey would be fatal. The toxins would disrupt nerve function, damage tissues, or shut down essential systems. The sea slug, however, does something far stranger. It consumes these organisms and does not neutralize their toxins. It preserves them. Inside the slug's body, specialized tissues sequester these compounds, isolating them from vulnerable systems and storing them intact. Instead of being broken down during digestion, the toxins are transported and concentrated, often accumulating in the skin or in specialized structures. The slug does not merely tolerate poison, it repurposes it. This process is not passive. It requires precise physiological control. The slug must recognize which compounds can be safely stored, prevent them from interfering with its own cellular processes, and maintain them in a form that remains effective against predators. This is biochemical theft at its most refined. The slug does not synthesize these weapons itself. It steals them directly from its victims and wears them as armor. In some species, the stolen defenses go even further. Sea slugs that feed on anemones or hydroids may ingest their stinging cells, known as nematocysts, without triggering them. These microscopic harpoons, designed to fire on contact, pass through the slug's digestive system intact. The slug then transports them to the tips of its external appendages, where they are stored and redeployed. When a predator touches the slug, the nematocysts fire, injecting venom exactly as they would from the original organism. This is not mimicry. It is functional appropriation. The slug becomes a mobile extension of its prey's weaponry, wielding stinging cells that it did not evolve itself. The boundary between predator and prey dissolves. What was once food becomes defense. For predators, the consequences of misjudgment are immediate and often memorable. A fish that bites a chemically armed slug may experience intense irritation, numbness, or disruption of muscle control. Some toxins induce vomiting or paralysis. Others cause burning sensations in the mouth or gills, making respiration painful or difficult. The predator releases the slug almost instantly, retreating in distress. The slug, meanwhile, continues crawling, uninjured, its chemical arsenal undiminished. This interaction reshapes behavior at the community level. Predators learn quickly to associate certain color patterns and body shapes with negative outcomes. Bright coloration, known as aposematism, serves as an honest warning signal. The slug's vivid appearance is not a flaw. It is an advertisement. It announces danger openly, relying on memory rather than concealment. Over time, predators avoid these signals entirely, granting the slug a form of immunity that requires no movement or aggression. The evolutionary implications of this strategy are profound. The sea slug has abandoned traditional defenses entirely. It does not build armor. It does not sharpen teeth. It does not invest in speed. Instead, it invests in compatibility with poison. Its survival depends on metabolic pathways that allow it to handle compounds lethal to most other animals. This requires fine-tuned cellular mechanisms, including modified ion channels, resistant enzymes, and compartmentalization strategies that keep toxins from reaching sensitive tissues. In this sense, the sea slug is not merely borrowing weapons. It is redefining what a weapon can be. Defense becomes an internal process, invisible until tested. The slug does not need to ambush predators physically. It ambushes them chemically, turning the act of predation itself into the trigger for retaliation. This creates a particularly cruel dynamic. The predator must commit fully to learn the lesson. There is no warning bite, no partial contact that allows retreat without consequence. The first interaction is the experiment, and the results are delivered directly into the predator's mouth or gills. The slug's defense does not escalate. It is always at full strength. What makes this even more unsettling is how little effort the slug expends. While other predators and prey engage in constant motion, vigilance, and energy expenditure, the chemically armed sea slug moves slowly, feeds deliberately, and rests openly. Its success is not measured in dramatic encounters, but in how rarely it needs to respond at all. The threat is always present, always primed, requiring no action until someone else makes a mistake. This strategy also allows sea slugs to occupy ecological niches that would otherwise be inaccessible. By feeding on toxic prey, they reduce competition for food. By advertising their own toxicity, they reduce predation pressure. This combination enables them to thrive in exposed habitats where unprotected, soft-bodied animals would quickly be eliminated. There is an irony here that borders on the grotesque. The sea slug survives by becoming a walking archive of other organisms' defenses. Its body is a museum of stolen chemistry, each compound representing a past meal and a future threat. Predators that encounter it are not fighting the slug alone. They are confronting the cumulative arsenal of the reef. This challenges simplistic notions of predator-prey relationships. Power does not always belong to the organism with the biggest jaws or the fastest muscles. Sometimes it belongs to the one that understands how to move toxins safely through its body and deploy them at the right moment. The sea slug's ambush is not spatial. It is physiological. Even after death, the slug's chemical legacy persists. Toxins stored in its tissues may deter scavengers, influencing decomposition and nutrient cycling. In this way, its defensive strategy continues to shape the ecosystem beyond its own lifespan. Chemistry ripples outward, affecting interactions long after movement has ceased. As the reef darkens and activity shifts with the light, the sea slug remains visible, crawling slowly across rock and coral, its colors still vivid, its presence still bold. It does not hide when predators emerge. It does not seek shelter. It carries its protection openly, confident in the silent complexity beneath its skin. In the end, the sea slug offers one of the most unsettling lessons in marine biology. Ambush does not always involve speed, stealth, or violence. Sometimes it involves patience and biochemical theft. Sometimes the deadliest weapon in the ocean is not a tooth or a spine, but a molecule repurposed from a stolen meal. The reef is full of traps that close quickly, jaws that snap shut without warning. But it is also full of slower dangers, creatures that let others make the first move and then pay for it in pain, paralysis, or memory. The sea slug stands as proof that in the ocean, even the softest bodies can be armed, and that survival often belongs not to the strongest, but to those who understand how to turn biology itself into a weapon.